Chapter 291. I have waited for more than 5 years, I am not in a hurry to wait for 1 or 2 months. Xing Hui muttered to himself as he felt the weakness in his body. Moments later, he focused his attention on the 6th level of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. He continued to break down and study this level of technique, pondering over the many changes within it. At the same time, he compared it to the true form of the divine beast Golden Crow that he had seen with his own eyes and completely perfected it. 10 days of weakness quickly passed. After getting rid of the state of weakness and adjusting his mental state to the peak, Xing Hui's figure flashed and already appeared in the sky. In the sky, Xing Hui's footsteps were a little hesitant. Zhangjin Shengren obviously thought highly of him, and would try his best to satisfy any of his requests. If he asked to borrow some golden blood to cultivate in the core of the Great Sun, Zhangjin Shengren would certainly not refuse, but this way. He and Zhangjin Shengren had a great relationship. But soon, he cut off this hesitation. Even if the transmission technique can return to Earth, it is not like I will never return. After a year, I will deal with the matters on Earth, and eventually return to Heaven Wasteland to pursue the path of immortality. At that time, I will slowly repay those favors. And if the transmission technique can't let me directly return to Earth, then I will have to stay on Heaven Wasteland for decades or even hundreds of years, until I reach the realm of crushing vacuum, and then there is hope to leave. At that time, it will be much easier to repay the favor of Zhangjin Shengren. Thinking of this, Xing Hui made a decision in his heart. His figure flashed and already appeared outside the book creation hall. Senior brother Pak Hui. Seeing the arrival of Xing Hui, Yuling showed a smile on her face. Senior brother hasn't come for a while. I have been concentrating on cultivation during this time, so I can't spare any time. Xing Hui said, glancing in the direction of the book creation hall. Is the esteemed lord here? The esteemed lord is not in the hall, but I will ask for you. Yuling said, quickly took out a jade talisman and sent a message. Not long after, her face showed a joyful expression. The esteemed lord will be back in 30 minutes. The esteemed lord asked senior brother Pak Hui to wait in the book creation hall for a while. Thank you. I wouldn't dare. You're the favorite of His Excellency, and you're very likely to become his disciple in the future. I'm not even a nominal disciple of His Excellency. It's just that His Excellency likes me and keeps me by his side because he thinks I'm smart. If senior fellow apprentice Pak Hui becomes His Excellency's disciple in the future, please put in a good word for me in front of His Excellency. Become the disciple of Zhangjin Exalted Master. Xing Hui was startled, but he smiled bitterly and said, I'm afraid the Venerable Master might not be willing to accept me. That can't be. If the Venerable Master didn't want to take you in as a disciple, why would he think so highly of you? Could it be that you are a relative of the Venerable Master? Xing Hui shook his head, unwilling to explain too much on this topic. If there is a chance, I will propose to His Excellency to accept you as a disciple. Then thank you senior fellow apprentice Pak Hui. With senior fellow apprentice Pak Hui's words, this matter is most likely going to happen. When senior fellow apprentice Pak Hui comes to Heaven Wasteland, junior sister will certainly invite senior fellow apprentice to thank senior fellow apprentice for his help. It's not set in stone yet, you don't have to thank me. I don't know whether this matter will be successful or not. In the end, it still depends on what His Excellency wants. Xing Hui and Yuling chatted, and soon, a stream of light had fallen into the book creation hall. Well, His Excellency is back. You are already familiar with the book creation hall, go in. Xing Hui nodded, stepped into the book creation hall, and came directly to the study of Zhangjin esteemed master. Greetings to His Excellency. Well, what are you here for? I want to go to the core of the Great Sun again to cultivate, and use the golden blood to transform my cultivation base. I hope His Excellency can make an exception. Go to the core of the Great Sun. Zhangjin esteemed master frowned. How is your cultivation of the method of transforming into virtual qi? It has reached the small success stage. Small success stage? Zhangjin esteemed master's face relaxed a little. Since your method of transforming into virtual qi has reached the small success stage, it is okay to improve your cultivation base, but you have to pay attention to yourself and cultivate the method of transforming into virtual qi to the great success stage as soon as possible. Only when you have reached the great success stage can you really be said to have a smooth journey before you reach the transformative stage. I understand. I will try my best to cultivate the method of transforming into virtual qi to the great success stage before I reach the transformative stage. Well, cultivate in the core of the great sun for a month, a portion of golden blood, and 15 Tao rhythms. When someone from Tianqiong wants to go to the eastern wilderness for a transaction, I will inform you to make up for the Tao vessel. Thank you, His Excellency. Xing Hui bowed respectfully. Only he could have such treatment, to enter the core of the great sun in advance without turning in his Tao rhythms. If it were other people, even if they were high-ranking members, there would be no such thing as credit. This is the golden blood. Come with me to the core of the great sun. As Zhangzhen esteemed master spoke, he led Xing Hui straight to the core of the great sun. This was the third time that Xing Hui had ascended to the core of the great sun, and could be said to be familiar with the way. And after Zhangzhen esteemed master gave him the dazzling sun bead, he did not need to worry too much, and turned to leave. But at this time Xing Hui thought of his damaged, yang-devouring bead, and hurriedly asked, "Esteemed master, how can I exchange for this dazzling sun bead?" There are not many dazzling sun beads in Tianqiong, and although its level is not high, it has the ability to repel fire, and is very valuable. Even in the heaven wasteland world, there are people who offer dozens of Tao rhythms. If you want to get a dazzling sun bead, in addition to having no less than 60 Tao rhythms, you also have to make contributions to Tianqiong. Make contributions to Tianqiong. Xing Hui nodded. After this cultivation is over, I will go into seclusion for 1 or 2 years, and then I will go to the punishment hall to receive a mission from Tianqiong to accumulate contributions. Well, it is not the first time that you have come to the core of the great sun, I will not say more. You be careful, I will come to find you in a month. Thank you, His Excellency. Xing Hui bowed to Zhangzhen esteemed master. After Zhangzhen esteemed master left, Xing Hui gathered his thoughts, and immediately looked down at the divine beast golden crow that was bathed in the endless, great sun true fire. The great sun true fire was the most terrifying flame origin power in the world, and its power was incredible. If a cultivator wanted to really master the great sun true fire, they often had to reach the divine realm. At that level, they could derive a divine ability that contained the power of the great sun true fire. At that time, the flames could burn the sky and boil the sea, and could intimidate the world. Even many of the top powerful people with the lawful embodiment of heaven and earth could not withstand it. This was also one of the reasons why the bloodline of the golden crow could be the most destructive and most respected in the world. Xing Hui sat on the core of the great sun, observing the countless great sun god patterns on the divine beast golden crow, and comprehending many of its mysteries. The 5th and 6th levels of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, which were originally incomplete, were quickly perfected, and the key parts that were originally vague and unclear were easily understood. The 2 levels of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique were constantly circulating in his mind, and the Great Sun Golden Crow technique in his body was also circulating, absorbing the essence of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique around his body and constantly replenishing himself. Under this kind of concentrated cultivation, Xing Hui's cultivation progressed very quickly. Even though the effect of the Great Sun Core technique decreased as his cultivation increased, but after a month, his Great Sun Jin Wu religion cultivation still reached the peak of the 5th level, reaching the same level as the Torch Sun Sutra. Especially when he personally witnessed the Great Sun True Fire rolling and surging in the Great Sun Core technique, he had a new understanding of the method of refining the eternal blazing sun. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't want to miss the precious cultivation time of the Great Sun Core technique, he couldn't help but directly cultivate and try to condense an eternal blazing sun. A month has passed. Pak Hui, you should return. Your cultivation has increased too quickly, and if you continue to cultivate, you will face the crucial step of condensing a saint body. You can't be careless at this step. If you are careless, you will squander the foundation that you have worked so hard to build and only condense a saint battle body. At that time, it will be too late for you to regret. Therefore, even if you have the confidence to directly cultivate to the vision domain stage, suppress it and turn it into your foundation. Don't act rashly before you have absolute confidence. Esteemed Zhangzhen's figure appeared beside Xing Hui and saw through the problem that Xing Hui was facing. Esteemed Zhangzhen, don't worry. I understand. Before I have absolute confidence, I won't easily enter the vision domain stage. Xing Hui said. Alright, I will bring you away from the core of the great sun. As esteemed Zhangzhen spoke, he grabbed Xing Hui and brought him quickly through the sky dome realm. In the blink of an eye, they had already landed outside the book creation hall. This kind of method that was similar to traveling through the void was even faster than the flying speed of the rainbow transformation technique. Alright, activate the power of the golden blood immediately and return to the real world to consolidate the cultivation of this month. Yes. Xing Hui responded and activated the power of the golden blood. This chaotic body also left the chaos shrine. As he left the chaos shrine, the vast blazing power wrapped in the golden blood seemed to have passed through the barrier of space and directly merged with his body in the real world. In an instant, the cultivation of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique that was originally at the early stage of the blue netherworld realm began to rapidly break through. The dense and majestic blazing aura continuously dissipated from his body, once again causing the temperature in the cultivation room to rise sharply. The area within a radius of tens of meters was almost turned into a furnace of heaven and earth. At this moment, if there were cultivators who had not cultivated the protective aura to step into Xing Hui's cultivation room, there was no need for Xing Hui to make a move. The blazing power that filled the sealed space of the cultivation room was enough to burn them to ashes. Even if it was an expert who had cultivated the aura, their aura would probably be ignited. If they did not quickly retreat, it would be difficult for them to escape the fate of being burned to ashes. This was the tyrannical power of the Golden Crow True Qi. Compared to the Golden Crow True Qi, although the Torch Dragon was also called the Great Sun True God, it was far from being comparable to the Golden Crow True Qi in the path of destruction. Perhaps even if the Red Sun True Qi in the middle stage of the Blue Netherworld realm faced the Golden Crow True Qi in the early stage of the Blue Netherworld realm, the Golden Crow True Qi in the middle stage of the Blue Netherworld realm would have the advantage in the end. Chapter 292. The Great Sun Golden Crow technique has reached the pinnacle of the 5th level. My cultivation base has also reached the pinnacle of the Green Netherworld realm. I only need to spend some time polishing my true qi to make it as pure as I wish. Then, I can use the power of the Golden Crow's soul essence to try to condense the Golden Crow combat body and break through to the prominent divine stage. Xing Hui projected his consciousness into the Chaos Treasure Pavilion outside his personal space in the Chaos Temple. He communicated with the Chaos Treasure Pavilion and spent 100 Daoist rhymes to exchange for the Golden Crow's soul essence. After exchanging the Golden Crow's soul essence from the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, it lost the suppression of the Chaos Treasure Pavilion's ceiling wall. That mighty and blazing heat wave continued to spread out. Even though Xing Hui had cultivated the Great Sun Golden Crow technique to the pinnacle of the 5th level, he could still feel the terrifying power that made him shudder. In particular, there was a remnant soul in the Golden Crow's soul essence. It seemed to be the shadow of a divine beast, the Golden Crow. When Xing Hui was refining this item, he had to merge the Golden Crow divine soul in his spiritual world with the remnant soul. If he succeeded, the Golden Crow divine soul in his spiritual world would become more real and condensed. The derived Golden Crow combat body would also have more magical abilities. If he failed, his divine soul would be incinerated into ashes, and he would die. Fortunately, this Golden Crow's soul essence isn't at the saint stage like the Torch Dragon's blood. If I'm not mistaken, this Golden Crow's soul essence should only be at the 5th or 6th level of the saint stage. The divine beast's blood essence, soul essence, and essence core are usually divided into different levels. A Saint Stage Golden Crow's Soul Essence costs 100 Dao Rhymes, but a Saint Stage Golden Crow's Soul Essence costs at least 300 Dao Rhymes. Sing Hui's eyes sparkled as he sensed the Golden Crow's Soul Essence that he had exchanged for. As soon as the Golden Crow's Soul Essence was exchanged, the terrifying heat contained within it had already turned the area within a radius of tens of kilometers into a fiery purgatory. Fortunately, his personal space was spacious enough. If it was only a Tier 1, Tier 2, or Tier 3 personal space, it would be impossible to store any ordinary items in this space. I have to refine it as soon as possible. Qing Su's personal space was at the 5th tier. It was 100,000 meters across, or 100 kilometers across. Right now, the power of the Golden Crow's Soul Essence made it so that nothing within 30 to 40 kilometers of his personal space could exist. Even though the personal space he could use was less than 10 kilometers, it would still be a problem if he kept the Golden Crow's Soul Essence. There is only a trace of the remnant soul of the Golden Crow in the Golden Crow's Soul Essence. With my spiritual power at the 73rd level, it won't be difficult to draw it out and integrate it into the divine soul of the Golden Crow that I created. Plus, I still have the chi of the primordial spirit, so this won't be a problem. The key is the power contained in the Golden Crow blood essence. Blood essence is different from blood. It's pure blood, so I can refine it directly. But the power in it is not inferior to the power of the blood of the divine stage Golden Crow. When I took the torch dragon blood, I had to supplement it with external items to neutralize it. The Golden Crow blood essence is much more domineering than the torch dragon blood. If I don't break it, I won't be able to refine it. Xing Hui pondered for a while. He couldn't find a way. His good friends, esteemed Zhu Zhao and esteemed Zhang Zhen, also didn't cultivate the Golden Crow bloodline. It seemed that he had to rely on the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce to neutralize the medicinal power. In today's world, there were many people who cultivated the Golden Crow bloodline, and there were also many who refined the Golden Crow blood essence to increase their cultivation. Similar medicinal pills should be much easier to find than those that came with the Torch Dragon bloodline. Thinking of this, Xing Hui directly escaped into the Chaos Temple, transformed into the appearance of the powerful Dong Yang, and contacted the president of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce, Gong Xing. As the president of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce and a public figure in the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce, he naturally didn't have to keep his identity in the real world a secret like ordinary Sons of Chaos. In the Chaos Temple, Gong Xing was still extremely respectful in front of Xing Hui. Senior Dong Yang. What can I do for you in the Chaos Temple? I need to find a medicinal pill for one of my juniors to refine a drop of the Golden Crow blood essence of a peak-level saint. Do you have any recommendations? Gong Xing was puzzled. Didn't Senior Dong Yang's disciple awaken the Torch Dragon bloodline? Why was it the Great Sun Golden Crow bloodline now? But in order not to arouse the dissatisfaction of this powerful figure, he quickly said, the Golden Crow bloodline, the Kuanping bloodline, and the Qilin bloodline are among the 3 most popular divine beast bloodlines among cultivators. There are many medicinal pills that can neutralize the Golden Crow blood essence. May I know what realm your junior is at now? Different realms will allow different medicinal pills to be consumed. Green Netherworld Realm. Green Netherworld Realm. Consuming the Golden Crow blood essence of a peak-level saint. No wonder he's a junior related to a powerful figure. He's rich and imposing. Gong Xing murmured enviously in his heart. But his brain quickly thought of an answer. If he's at the Green Netherworld realm, the Falling Sun pill is the best choice. It's a 10th grade medicinal pill. Not only can it perfectly neutralize the power of the Golden Crow blood essence, it can also activate and purify one's Golden Crow vital energy. Its effects are extraordinary. The next best would be the Flame Destruction pill. It's more effective for neutralizing the Golden Crow blood essence, but it can't purify vital energy or disintegrate the impurities in it. How much are the Falling Sun pill and the Flame Destruction pill? Does the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce sell them? Medicinal pills often have the power of heaven and earth. The price is half a level higher than divine weapons. As a 10th grade medicinal pill, the Falling Sun pill is usually sold for around 25 Taoist rhymes. I can help you get a price of 22 Taoist rhymes at most. As for the Flame Destruction pill, it's a 9th grade medicinal pill. 6 Taoist rhymes is enough. 20 Taoist rhymes. Xing Hui had a total of 32 Taoist rhymes on him. But he had to leave behind 15 Taoist rhymes to repay his debt to Heaven Vault. He was 5 Taoist rhymes away from 22. Heaven Vault doesn't send anyone to Eastern Wilderness for trade for 3 to 5 years. I'm not in a hurry to get those 15 Taoist rhymes. I'll just use those to make up for it. In these 3 to 5 years, I'll make a few more trips on behalf of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. Then, I'll have enough Taoist rhymes. Xing Hui had already made up his mind. Prepare the Falling Sun pill for me. I'll go to Martial Desolation City in a month. Also, prepare the spiritual imprint of the last trader for me. A month. Gong Xing was pleasantly surprised. The senior in front of him only needed a month to get through the weak phase. The incarnation technique was at least at the second stage. Yes, I'll prepare it for you. I'll congratulate you at the branch in a month. Gong Xing bowed respectfully. Xing Hui nodded. After waiting for a while, he received the trader's spiritual imprint from Gong Xing and left the Chaos Temple. Then, he activated the incarnation technique and traveled 30 million kilometers through the trader's spiritual imprint. He landed on a medium-sized continent and completed the trade. Because he still had a lot of things to deal with, Xing Hui didn't want to be distracted and wander around this medium-sized continent after completing the trade. He returned directly to Moon Lake Island. No matter how prosperous a medium-sized island was, it couldn't be compared to Heaven Vault. This could be seen from the huge gap between Eastern Wilderness and Heaven Vault. I'll have to delay the use of the teleportation technique for another month. Xing Hui sat in his personal space and glanced at the interface of the Son of Chaos with a worried look on his face. In fact, the reason why he didn't want to use the teleportation technique for so long was because he had a lot of things to deal with. The most important thing was, he had no confidence. The greater the expectation, the greater the disappointment. He didn't know how he would face the result if he couldn't return to Earth even after using the teleportation technique. Failure meant that he could only pin his hopes on the vacuum crushing technique. The vacuum crushing technique was the 3rd level of the Divine Realm. It took him 5 to 6 years to cultivate to the 5th level of the Immortality Realm. If he wanted to cross the 6th level of the Immortality Realm, the 6th level of the Saint Realm, and the 3rd level of the Divine Realm, it would take more than a few years or decades. It took Dongqian 240 years to condense vital essence from the 1st level of the Saint Realm to the 1st level of the Divine Realm, the Domain Realm. It took a whole 700 years to reach the vacuum crushing technique from the Domain Realm. What about him? It was because of this mentality that he convinced himself time and time again that he had already waited for a few years. Why bother with a few more months? But, he had to face this problem in the end. With a sigh, Xing Hui put away the many distracting thoughts in his mind and stopped thinking about it. No matter what, he had to take this step in a month. Sir. While Xing Hui was silent, Ling Yu's figure suddenly appeared in his personal space. Xing Hui glanced at Ling Yu and realized that he was in the public space of his personal space, which was the area used by the Primordial Trade Union. Any Son of Chaos could freely enter and leave this area with a spell. Alliance Master, there's something I need to report to you. Ling Yu looked at Xing Hui and hesitated for a moment before speaking carefully. What is it? It's about the Life Alliance's development in the East Sea. Golden Edge Island? Could it be that Golden Edge Island has become a hotspot? If there's really nothing we can do about it, we can just get the sea beasts to stir up a storm and completely destroy Golden Edge Island. Not Golden Edge Island, but the Creation Mystical Sect. The Creation Mystical Sect? Xing Hui frowned, somewhat puzzled. What are the Creation Mystical Sect's people doing? Half a month ago, we detected traces of people from the Creation Mystical Sect. They were sneaking around our East Sea region and seemed to be up to something. Dozens of overseas cultivators who happened to stumble upon them were killed by them. However, the news spread. During this period of time, we have sent people to investigate in detail, trying to figure out the purpose of their infiltration into the East Sea. However, we have yet to obtain any useful information. The Creation Mystical Sect. A few years ago, the Creation Mystical Sect was defeated, and now they're making a comeback. Sing Hui's mind was now focused on the teleportation technique. He wanted to see if the teleportation technique could return to Earth. The Life Alliance wouldn't make any big moves in the coming year, and even the matter of Golden Edge Island could be put aside for a while. Under such circumstances, he really didn't want to have a conflict with the Creation Mystical Sect. Send people to investigate carefully. If the Creation Mystical Sect is just playing some small tricks, you can deal with it. If they're up to something big, contact the Hunyuan Heaven Sect directly. I need to find a secret place to cultivate in seclusion and break through to the prominent saint stage. If I'm fast, it'll take a year, and if I'm slow, it'll take 2 years. If there's nothing else, don't disturb me during this time. Master is going to break through to the prominent saint stage. If Master can break through to the prominent saint stage, you'll definitely condense a divine grade battle body. Once a divine grade battle body is formed, there won't be many people in the world who can rival Master. Ling Yu's face immediately lit up with surprise. Moreover, her words weren't false. Once Tsinghui broke through to the prominent saint stage and condensed a divine grade battle body, coupled with the divine art to push his cultivation to the saint stage, he would receive an endless supply of energy. Let alone prominent saint stage experts, he would even be able to defeat first-tier saint stage experts. Apart from transcendent experts, no one would be able to resist Sing Hui's sharpness. After all, no one in the entire eastern wilderness had heard of anyone who had condensed a divine-grade battle body. The number of transcendent second-layer saints in the eastern wastelands could be counted with 2 hands. By then, it would not be strange at all for the Qing Su Ruins battle prowess to enter the top 10 of the Eastern Wastelands rankings under the effects of the divine art. It's good that you understand the importance of this matter. If the Creation Mystical Sect really wants to attack the Life Alliance, it's fine to retreat for the time being. When I break through to the prominent saint stage and condense a divine grade battle body, I'll be able to uproot Golden Edge Island and the Creation Mystical Sect's overseas forces. Yes, your subordinate obeys. Chapter 293. Senior Dong Yang, this is the fallen sun pill you need. In the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce, Gong Xing was still the one in charge of receiving Tsinghui. Very good. Tsinghui held the fallen sun pill in his hand with satisfaction, a faint smile on his face. The falling sun pill was a treasure that was even more precious than the roaming dragon blood transformation powder. Even if it wasn't for the purpose of neutralizing the golden crow's blood essence, swallowing such a pill would bring immeasurable benefits to any practitioner of the golden crow's bloodline. The effect of greatly purifying one's Jin Qi was enough to save a normal practitioner 3 to 5 years of refining their Jin Qi. Senior Dong Yang, our Martial Desolate City Chamber of Commerce's goods are obviously unable to meet Senior Dong Yang's needs. For the next transaction, could Senior Dong Yang please move to the Cloud City branch for the transaction? After handing over the fallen sun pill, Gong Xing asked hopefully. Cloud City. Tsinghui glanced at Gong Xing. President Gong Xing has been promoted? The higher-ups do have this intention, but this junior will still focus on Senior Dong Yang's opinion. If you feel that it is more troublesome to go to Cloud City to trade, then I will resign from the higher-ups arrangement and concentrate on serving Senior Dong Yang in Martial Desolate City. That's not necessary. Cloud City is one of the top 20 cities in the Desolate Divine region. The Cloud City branch is probably ranked in the top 5 among the many branches of the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce. This kind of branch can undoubtedly mobilize more resources, and it will be more convenient for me to purchase any kind of heaven and earth treasures. Tsinghui said. Although the Galaxy Chamber of Commerce was a famous top chamber of commerce in the Heaven Wasteland region, and had the backing of an invincible divine realm powerhouse like the Myriad Star sect, the resources it could sell were still limited to those below the level of the Almighty. The treasures that could be used by the Almighty were rarely sold. Even if there were a few that occasionally appeared, they would only be auctioned off in some large auctions. The entire Chamber of Commerce only targeted those below the Almighty level. Among the many branches in the martial desolate city, the quality of materials that could be distributed could be imagined. Xing Hui had already carefully looked around the martial desolate city branch earlier. Although there were many heavenly materials and earthly treasures, and there was no lack of level 10 divine weapons, the main trading class was still targeted at the three great realms of unity of spirit and qi, blue darkness, and vision domain. There were not many goods that were beneficial to true essence and transformative realm experts. Every time Xing Hui wanted to buy something, Gong Xing would have to go to other branches to gather supplies. A round trip would often waste 1 or 2 days, which was extremely inconvenient. Now that Gong Xing had risen to become the president of the Red Cloud City branch, it would be much more efficient for him to buy or sell some valuable items. Since this junior will be able to serve Senior Dongyang better if I go to the Yunxia City branch, then this junior will agree and go to Yunxia City to take up the post. Go. The next time I want to trade with you, I will contact you in the Chaos Temple in advance. Yes, this junior will definitely organize the many businesses in Yunxia City as quickly as possible and wait for Senior's next visit. Xing Hui nodded to Gong Xing, and then, without wasting any more time, directly dissipated this incarnation and returned to the Life League cultivation room. I finally got the meteorite pill. Next, Xing Hui looked at the meteorite pill in his hand, and a trace of hesitation flashed in his eyes. Next, should he take the meteorite pill, then refine the Golden Crow soul essence, condense the Golden Crow battle body, and step into the vision domain stage, or use the teleportation technique to try to go to the world of Earth? Xing Hui's mind was undoubtedly more inclined to take the meteorite pill to break through to the vision domain stage, but his reason told him that escaping was not the way. Whether the teleportation technique could directly return to the world of Earth, he would have to face it sooner or later. The sooner he used the teleportation technique, the sooner he would know what to do next. Huff. Xing Hui closed his eyes and let out a long breath, clearing all the distracting thoughts in his mind. Teleportation technique. There was no hesitation. The moment he cleared all the distracting thoughts, he did not hesitate and forcibly cut off the distracting thoughts, directly activating the teleportation technique. In that instant, his thoughts were constantly raised, as if he had entered a higher dimension, and the illusion that all the worlds in the universe were in front of him surged in his mind. The place where I parted with senior sister Jiang Ningji was the Eastern Sun Sword sect. Then, the place where we will reunite will also start from the Eastern Sun Sword sect. Many scenes flashed in Xing Hui's mind, and finally, it stopped at the ancestral hall in the back mountain of the Eastern Sun Sword sect. The Heavenly Book Stone Wall. The destination of the teleportation was the ancestral hall where the Heavenly Book Stone Wall was located. It's here. Xing Hui's mind was clear, and all the distracting thoughts retreated, leaving only the scenes in the ancestral hall in the back mountain. Teleport. Buzz buzz. As Xing Hui finally activated the teleportation technique, he felt as if he had been fished out of an ocean, and an unprecedented vast world appeared in an instant. That kind of vastness could not be described with words. The moment his body leaped into this vast world, an unprecedented feeling surged in his mind. Freedom. Freedom, as if he had escaped from a prison, filled his mind, a trapped dragon rising to the sky. A fish swimming in the sea. An eagle soaring in the sky. Endless thoughts kept surging in Xing Hui's mind. However, this feeling only lasted for a moment. After being in this high-dimensional state for who knows how long, Xing Hui suddenly felt that the mysterious force that had fished him out of the ocean gradually dissipated. The teleportation is over? Xing Hui still could not help but widen his eyes. The truth of whether he could return to Earth or not seemed to be completely revealed in the next moment. Buzz buzz. The mysterious force that had fished him out of the ocean suddenly shook, and then it fell down at an indescribable speed. Countless distances and spaces were left behind by a kind of distorted time at this moment. Then, the suffocating feeling of falling back into the ocean surged in his mind. This feeling kept colliding and rubbing against his mind, making him dizzy. When he almost couldn't bear this dizzying force anymore, many of the strange feelings suddenly dissipated, and a feeling of stepping on solid ground and regaining his physical body surged in his mind. Xing Hui quickly opened his eyes and looked around. An extremely dim cave appeared in front of him. Xing Hui widened his eyes and tried to see the appearance of the entire cave with the help of the faint light that leaked through the cracks in the wall. Familiar. This cave had an aura that he was extremely familiar with. In the dim light, dense mysterious characters and runes filled the entire cave. Even though he couldn't see any of the runes or murals clearly due to the dim light, he could still sense a familiar aura from those runes and murals. Ancestral Hall. These are the same runes as the cave in the Ancestral Hall. Yes. This is it. I'm back on Earth. Xing Hui's eyes were filled with uncontrollable ecstasy. Although he faintly felt that it was a little strange, the destination in his mind was hundreds of millions of light years away from the destination of the teleportation spell, but he did not know why, but he finally came back. He came back to the mysterious cave full of runes where the Ancestral Hall was located. Earth. My parents, family, and Ningxi. Xing Hui took a deep breath and suppressed the surging thoughts in his heart. I, Xing Hui, am finally back. Xing Hui stretched out his trembling right hand, and soon, a glowing sunstone appeared in his hand. Immediately, the sunstone illuminated an area with a radius of tens of meters around Xing Hui. As the light illuminated the entire cave, the scene in the cave appeared clearly in front of Xing Hui. Xing Hui's face that was originally full of surprise, excitement, anticipation, and uneasiness suddenly froze. Cave. It was indeed a cave. The cave was also full of runes that Xing Hui had seen on the heavenly tombstone wall in the Ancestral Hall. Even the contents of the runes and the style of the runes were almost exactly the same. But, Xing Hui did not see the heavenly tombstone wall in the cave. Even the layout of the cave was quite different from the one in the Ancestral Hall. This was not a cave. This was not the same cave. Xing Hui's face was faintly pale. He raised his head and looked at the faint glimmer of light on the stone wall. Rumble. After a moment, Xing Hui suddenly waved his hand, and the rocks and soil in front of the cave were all lifted up by a huge force. The cave entrance that had been filled with collapsed rocks and soil suddenly appeared, and the sunlight from the outside world spilled in. Whoosh! Xing Hui's figure flashed, and in an instant, he appeared outside the cave and looked up. Blue sky, white clouds, mountains, forests, rivers, and between the mountains and forests, there were hundreds of courtyards, lofts, and palaces that were obviously not of the style of the earth. Why, is it not, even though he had been mentally prepared after seeing the cave that was different from the ancestral hall of the Dongyang sword sect, Xing Hui still showed a trace of pain on his face when his hope was mercilessly torn apart. It was not earth. Xing Hui's movement had obviously attracted the attention of the people in the courtyards, lofts, and palaces in the distance. As waves of aura soared into the sky, several figures quickly rushed in this direction. Who dares to break into the Purple Cloud Palace? As the aura circulated, there were even more fierce shouts coming from afar. Xing Hui sensed a little and suddenly his face changed. The Transcendent State. The leader of the group was actually a Transcendent State expert. The rest, without exception, had all reached the true Essence State. Retreat. Without any hesitation, Xing Hui directly took out his 9th-rank flying sword, flowing fire, and shot toward the horizon like a stream of flame, disappearing in the blink of an eye. What a fast speed! Don't chase a cornered enemy. Be careful, it's a trick to lure the tiger away from the mountain. That's strange. It's true that this back mountain was the ancestral land of our Purple Cloud Palace 3,000 years ago. However, after our Purple Cloud Palace became a supreme sect in the world of good fortune 3,000 years ago, we occupied an area of 100,000 miles around the Pillar of Heaven's mountains. This ancestral land has been abandoned, and many of the precious treasures inside have been moved away. What's left behind are some strange runes that no one knows the meaning of. Therefore, only a few old fellows like us are left here to guard our old home. The few transcendent state elders looked at the figure that was quickly disappearing into the horizon on the flying sword and felt strange, but they did not continue to chase. Chapter 294. In the end, I didn't return to Earth. In a quaint restaurant, Tsing Hui sat on the second floor of the window, looking down at the people coming and going, and sighed. The style of the restaurant was rather quaint. Compared to the architectural style of the East Wasteland, Heaven Wasteland, Chongzhen, and other places, it was more similar to the buildings of the ancient Huaxia period on Earth. But similar was only similar, not completely the same. Moreover, this place was not the Middle Age of ancient Huaxia. Tsing Hui carefully recalled the little things he felt when he used the transmission technique. He could feel that he had crossed hundreds of millions of miles under the effect of the transmission technique. This distance could not be measured with words, but so what if it was further? In the end, he did not return to Earth. With a trace of sadness, Tsing Hui looked down at the endless stream of people. The city was filled with an ancient charm. The layout was also quite spacious and reasonable. After all, this was a world where cultivators lived. Even if these buildings followed the style of ancient Huaxia, but in terms of scale, cleanliness, and grandeur, it was far from being comparable to any city in ancient Huaxia. I don't know where this place is, Tsing Hui muttered to himself. As he looked up, the number of cultivators that appeared on the street was not small. Among these cultivators, there were some in the mortal realm and some in the immortal realm. However, the immortal realm cultivators were mostly in the awakening and true Qi realms. The number of spirit refining realm cultivators was much lesser. As for the spirit and Qi unity realm cultivators, although they would appear occasionally, they were obviously of high status. They were usually surrounded by groups of people and relied on their own strength. As for the saint realm, Tsing Hui did not notice. In the entire city, the strongest person he sensed was a prominent divine expert. It must be known that the place he was at was actually less than 3,000 kilometers away from the Purple Cloud Palace that had several transcendent realm cultivators. The city could be said to be prosperous and resplendent, but in such a large city, there was only one prominent divine expert. It could be seen that in terms of cultivation level, this continent was far from being comparable to Heaven Wasteland. It was normal that it could not be compared to Heaven Wasteland. After all, Tsing Hui sensed that the qi of heaven and earth on this continent was inferior to that of the East Wilderness and Chongzhen. Tsing Hui was baffled by the existence of a transcendent state cultivator on such a continent. Teleportation has a cooldown of 1 year. However, if I upgrade teleportation's tier, not only will the cooldown decrease, but even the teleportation distance will increase. I wonder if tier 10 teleportation can send me directly to Earth. Qing Su glanced at the Primal Chaos level in his Primal Chaos Temple interface. With the opening of the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, the amount of Daoist aura that he had obtained from the Fortune Godly Jade had reached a balance. If it was in the past, after 1 or 2 months of seclusion in the eastern wilderness, his Daoist aura would have reached the 31st level. However, due to the consumption of the Chaos Treasure Pavilion, he could only increase his Daoist aura to the 31st level through items that carried Daoist aura. Items that carried Daoist aura. Well, I'll learn more about this continent and see if I can obtain enough items that carried Daoist aura. In addition, in the cave that I was teleported to, there was a mysterious rune that was exactly the same as the one in the Ancestral Master Hall of the East Sun Sword Sect. Is there a connection between the two places? If there's a chance, I must sneak in and find out. A light flashed across Tsing Hui's eyes as a bold conjecture appeared in his mind. Back then, he had inexplicably appeared in the Eastern Wasteland during the bloody battle with the besiegers in the ancestral hall of the Eastern Sun Sword sect. Until now, he still had not figured out the reason. Now that a similar place had appeared, he vaguely saw the hope of uncovering this secret. Unfortunately, there were several transcendent state cultivators guarding that place. Not to mention Xing Hui, who was only in the blue netherworld realm. Even if he had entered the Vision Divine stage after refining the Golden Crow's soul essence, he would only have a dead end if he was besieged by several transcendent state cultivators. This was a terrifying force that was not inferior to the Wuji sword sect, which was ranked second among the 10 great saint sects in the eastern wilderness. Just as Xing Hui was pondering, a shout came from the crowd on the street below. Then, they quickly rushed in a direction. He vaguely heard someone shouting, "The day of the Purple Cloud Palace's Triennial Mountain Gate opening is coming. Last time, I regretfully failed and did not pass the test. This time, no matter what, I must join the Purple Cloud Palace, cultivate the immortal spells, and see the great way of immortality." The Purple Cloud Palace. That mysterious cave is located in the ancestral land behind the Purple Cloud Palace's abandoned mountain. Xing Hui's heart skipped a beat. He saw 2 young cultivators in the true Qi realm at the table in front of him standing up as if they wanted to join in the fun. He immediately went forward and said, "Please wait." The 2 cultivators in the true Qi realm were about to be displeased when they were stopped. However, when they felt the powerful and unfathomable aura from Xing Hui, their faces changed. They quickly squeezed out a smile and said, "Senior, what can I do for you?" "I was traveling around this place and heard people talking about the Purple Cloud Palace's disciple recruitment. I was curious and wanted to ask the 2 of you about it. I wonder if the 2 of you can tell me." "Senior, you are not from the Middle Continent?" One of them was slightly startled. "I came from another place." "I see. Senior, how about we talk as we walk?" "Of course, please. This is Wen Pingji. This is my junior brother, Wen Zaiji. Senior, how should I address you?" "My name is Dong Yang." "Senior Dong Yang, you came from another place. Senior, you should know about the Purple Cloud Palace's disciple recruitment. It is one of the 6 supreme sects of the human race. It has set the destiny of the human race and opened up a paradise in the endless wilderness for the hundreds of millions of people of the human race to reproduce. Although the 6 supreme sects had to withdraw from the Middle Continent due to the Great War 3,000 years ago, it is still the center of the world where the human race lives and reproduces. The 6 supreme sects still left branches in the Middle Continent. The Purple Cloud Palace 3,000 kilometers away from Tongyun City is a branch of the 6 supreme sects. I have seen the Purple Cloud Palace's mountain gate. It is indeed magnificent." Xing Hui followed their conversation. Although the Purple Cloud Palace of the Central Plains can't be compared to the headquarters of the Purple Cloud Palace of the Sky Pillar Mountain, as a supreme sect with immortals overseeing it, it still imparts a large number of immortality techniques and top-notch immortal techniques. Some talented people can even be sent to the headquarters of the Purple Cloud Palace of the Central Plains to cultivate in the Spirit Mountain blessed land of the headquarters of the Sky Pillar Mountain. In the future, they might be able to condense the immortal golden core, step into the immortal Tao, seize the world's lifespan of 3,000 years, and live forever. Immortality Golden Core. There is a level 4 Saint Overlord in the Purple Cloud Palace. Xing Hui's heart sank. He had thought that transcendent state overlords were the limit given the poor essence Qi on this continent. He had never thought that there would be someone who had formed the Immortality Golden Core in the Purple Cloud Palace. This completely ruined his plan to occupy the mysterious cave and study the talisman inscriptions. "Senior, if you want to go to the Purple Cloud Palace, why don't we go together?" Wen Pingji suggested enthusiastically. "I have achieved something in my cultivation. Can I also cultivate in the Purple Cloud Palace? As long as you have a clean background, why not? Even saint overlords who have formed true essence can enter the Purple Cloud Palace and become an elder, let alone immortality realm cultivators like us. In the future, if you make a contribution, you will be able to obtain the secret immortal skills of the Purple Cloud Palace." It won't be difficult for you to live a long life. Sing Hui heard this and shook his head. I still plan to travel around the continent. If I stay in the same place for a long time, I'm afraid I won't be able to get used to it. I won't go with you. Wen Pingzhi and Wen Zaizhi heard this and immediately felt that it was a pity. At first glance, they could tell that Sing Hui was a unity of divine qi and a blue underworld overlord. If they could build a good relationship with such a overlord before entering the Purple Cloud Palace and receive his care, their cultivation path would be smoother in the future. After bidding farewell to the two, Sing Hui left Tongyun City and headed to the outskirts. There were many people in Tongyun City. He didn't want to arouse the suspicion of some people, so he didn't want to ask too many questions. Sing Hui rode on his sword and traveled quickly through the mountains. After traveling for less than 600 kilometers, a stronghold in the mountain range appeared before his eyes. There were about 200 people in this stronghold. Most of them were at the 6th realm of the mortal realm, but the leader was also at the true Qi realm. These people looked fierce, and their bodies were surrounded by a baleful aura. They were definitely not kind people. Immediately, Sing Hui suppressed his sword light and whizzed towards the true Qi realm overlord. The sword light was biting cold, and the room that the true Qi realm overlord stayed in was torn apart by the sword Qi, causing stone fragments to fly everywhere. Who dares to offend my white tiger stronghold? A furious roar came from the room. However, in the next second, Sing Hui's majestic aura pressed down, causing the white tiger stronghold master to turn pale with fright. When he saw Sing Hui approaching on his sword, he quickly shouted, "Spare me, Buzz." Sing Hui waved his hand and directly knocked the true Qi realm stronghold master unconscious. Then, he wrapped the stronghold master's body with true Qi and shot into the sky again. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared. The many awakening realm and mortal realm cultivators who had witnessed the fate of their leader were immediately scared witless. No one dared to make a sound. Whoosh! Sing Hui rode on his sword for 600 kilometers and landed on a barren mountain again. He threw the white tiger stronghold master to the ground and woke him up. The white tiger stronghold master who woke up was slightly startled. Then, he quickly knelt and kowtowed to Sing Hui, "Senior, spare me. Senior, spare me. My white tiger stronghold has plundered many resources these years. If Senior needs them, please take them. I only ask that Senior can spare my life. I have something to ask you. If your answer satisfies me, I might spare your life." When the white tiger stronghold master heard this, he immediately let out a sigh of relief. He quickly said, "Senior, feel free to ask. I will definitely tell you everything I know. I'm from another continent. I came to this continent by chance. Tell me the name of this continent and how large it is." "The name of the continent? How large is it?" The white tiger stronghold master was slightly startled. "You're a true Qi realm cultivator. You're not a nobody. It can't be that you don't even know the name of this continent, right?" The white tiger stronghold master's face immediately revealed a bitter expression, but he didn't dare not answer. He could only rack his brains and say, "The continent we're on is tens of millions of kilometers long. It's said that there was once an almighty person who wanted to measure this place. After many years, he still couldn't find anything. Although this is only a rumor, but it can be seen how large the continent is. As for the name of the continent, I once heard a disciple of the Purple Cloud Palace call our world the Fortune World. As for whether or not it's true, I'm not sure." "Fortune World?" Sing Hui's heart skipped a beat. He immediately thought of the mysterious cave that was similar to the Dongyang Sword Sect's ancestral hall. This Fortune World, it wouldn't be related to the Fortune Jade in his possession, right? Chapter 295. Due to the failure of the teleportation technique, Qing Su was dispirited and absent-minded when he failed to return to Earth. As a result, he failed to notice the various differences on this continent. Now that he heard the White Tiger Stronghold Master mention the Fortune Continent and the Purple Firmament Palace, he immediately became interested. Since he failed to return to Earth, he naturally had to work hard to break through to the void-shattering realm. Wait here, Xing Hui said to the White Tiger Stockade's chief. He separated a part of his consciousness and entered his personal space, then directly pinched the spiritual imprint in his personal space. In a flash, Xing Hui stepped into the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion. So it's Your Excellency Pak Hui. I wonder if Your Excellency Pak Hui has found the treasure. The cultivation technique was given to him by Heaven's Inquisition, so the person in charge of receiving him was naturally Heaven's Inquisition. There's not even a shadow of it, Xing Hui said and went straight to the point. I'm looking for you this time because I want to ask you about a continent. Continent? Okay, I wonder which continent Your Excellency Pak Hui wants to know about. Although Heaven's Inquisition felt that Xing Hui's request was strange, he quickly got into character. Fortune Continent. Fortune Continent? Heaven's Inquisition was slightly stunned, then he racked his brains. There are more than 1,000 continents in the entire Heaven Wasteland Sea. I really don't have any impression of this Fortune Continent. Could it be an island? No, it's at least 100,000 li in diameter. This was the reason why Xing Hui had asked the White Tiger Stockade's chief about the continent's circumference. If it was a continent, the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion basically had information about it. However, if he landed on an island, even the Heavenly Secrets Pavilion might not be able to collect information about all the islands in the vast sea. 100,000 li in diameter, it's definitely not an island. Please wait for a moment, Your Excellency Pak Hui, I'll request to use a high-level authority to investigate the Divine Secrets Pavilion's database. Heaven's Inquisition bowed slightly to Xing Hui and quickly diverted his attention to investigate. Not long after, a scroll appeared out of thin air. Heaven's Inquisition caught the scroll and said with a bitter smile, so it's a continent like this. Why is Your Excellency Pak Hui looking for information about this continent? There's no need to ask. Once you have the information, just name your price. Although we do have the information we obtained from the Divination Pavilion is still very little. In fact, we only have a rough idea. Xing Hui couldn't help but feel a little surprised when he heard this. If it were an island, it's understandable that your Divination Pavilion doesn't know much about them. However, the Divination Pavilion doesn't even have detailed information about a continent. As far as I know, that continent is not small. Not only is it not small, it can only be described as vast, and is not inferior to a large continent. However, Your Excellency Pak Hui, do you know how far this continent is from Heaven Wasteland? Oh. How far? 180 million kilometers. How far? Xing Hui's eyes widened. You heard it right. 180 million kilometers. Hiss. Xing Hui couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air when he heard this. There's a continent 180 million kilometers away. You should know that the 1,000 or so continents on Heaven Wasteland were all formed from the ancient divine wilderness. During the ancient divine wilderness 10,000 years ago, there were countless peak experts. Not only were there giants who had cultivated domains, but there were also invincible existences who could shatter the vacuum and even condense divine true bodies. They could jump out of the latitude of our world and travel freely in the high-level chaotic space. Distance was nothing to them. When they fought with all their might, it wasn't difficult for them to cause the void to collapse, causing some continents to fall into chaos and drift hundreds of millions of kilometers away. The strength of the fierce beasts and sea beasts 50 to 60 million kilometers away would increase by leaps and bounds, making it almost impossible for humans to survive. Then, why are there still humans living on continents 180 million kilometers away? 50 to 60 million kilometers away is indeed a fierce beast paradise, but the limit of our world seems to be less than 100 million kilometers. After 100 million kilometers, the world's origin energy will gradually decline, and the truly powerful fierce beasts will consciously gather in the 50 to 100 million kilometers area. After 150 million kilometers, the number of fierce beasts and sea beasts will gradually decrease, and their strength will also decrease. This gives humans a chance to breathe in that area. The Fortune mainland is one of the few places where humans gather at the end of the world. So, that's how it is. The moment Xing Hui stepped onto the Fortune mainland, he had already sensed that the Fortune mainland's origin energy was severely lacking. Compared to the East Wasteland, Zhongzhen, and other places, the Fortune mainland's origin energy was still lacking. He had always found it strange that those kinds of continents could give birth to transformative realm masters. Miss Pak Hui should understand that the incarnation technique's energy consumption is directly related to the incarnation's strength, as well as the distance it descends. Moreover, there is also a limit to this distance. After the incarnation technique's range exceeds 100 million kilometers, the energy consumption will increase exponentially with every 10 million kilometers. In the past, there was a great master who sighed at the wonders of the Fortune mainland's cultivation system, actually being able to cultivate to the false core realm with the help of heaven and earth treasures, snatching 3,000 years of life from the heavens. He wanted to send his incarnation down to trade for this technique. In the end, when his incarnation descended, that great master was weakened for 6 whole years, and it took him a whole 20 years to recover. 6 years. 20 years. That's right. That great master felt that the weakening effect was too terrifying, so he quickly stopped the incarnation technique before the trader arrived. Otherwise, the weakening period would have been even longer. Speaking of this, Heaven's Inquisition seemed to have thought of something, and he added, as far as I know, that great master's incarnation technique was not at the first level, but the third level. The third level incarnation technique actually took 20 years to recover. This is also the reason why we don't know much about the Fortune mainland. Most of the information we know about the Fortune mainland comes from the Sons of Chaos on the Fortune mainland. However, due to the small number of Sons of Chaos on the Fortune mainland and the lack of Dao treasures, there aren't many transactions between the Fortune mainland and Heaven Wasteland. A mainland that's isolated from the rest of the world. Xing Hui sighed. It seemed that the teleportation technique had probably reached the limit of the distance of one world. After realizing that it couldn't send him to the correct destination, it just threw him into a cave similar to the ancestral hall for the sake of convenience. This incarnation technique, scam. Wait a minute, did you just say that it's a fake pill? Those cultivators on the Fortune mainland who have condensed the immortal golden core are refining fake pills. What's going on? The fake pill technique can increase one's lifespan by 3,000 years. Later on, we invited an ancestor who had raised his incarnation technique to the 5th level to exchange for this fake pill technique from the Fortune mainland. This is a pill technique that can condense a life golden core, but there's nothing mysterious about it. Moreover, in order to maintain this fake pill, the cultivator needs to constantly inject their true essence into the fake pill, snatching one's lifespan from the heavens. Every year they cultivate, they can only gain 1 year of lifespan, which seriously affects their future cultivation. Compared to the real immortal golden core, the fake pill technique is far inferior. As a result, no one is willing to go to the Fortune mainland anymore. There was a trace of regret on Heaven's Inquisition's face as he continued, of course, the most important thing is that terrifying weakening effect. That ancestor who had raised his incarnation technique to the 5th level was also weakened for an entire year, and it would take him 3 to 4 years to fully recover. Unfortunately, while he was weakened, an enemy of his came knocking on his door and killed him. Because of this lesson, unless the people on the Fortune mainland were willing to pay a huge price, no one would be willing to trade with him. As time passed, the Fortune mainland also lost contact with him. The information in my hand was compiled 300 years ago, and it can't be considered detailed. If you want, I can sell it to you privately for the price of a 5th-level divine weapon. I want it. Xing Hui agreed without hesitation. Alright, I believe that with your identity, you won't take it for yourself. Heaven's Inquisition directly handed the scroll to Xing Hui, without even signing the contract. Qing Su received the scroll and flipped it open very quickly to read through it. Fortune mainland, 6 supreme sets. Xing Hui looked through the information one by one. Unfortunately, as Heaven's Inquisition had said, this information was only a few words, roughly describing the distribution of forces on the Fortune mainland. Forget about giving Xing Hui a detailed understanding of the 6 supreme sets, he didn't even know how many experts there were on the Fortune mainland. Nothing good is cheap. In less than an hour, Xing Hui sighed and put down the scroll. There are almost no Dao carrying treasures on the Fortune mainland. Moreover, due to the distance between the two mainlands, there aren't any supreme experts who would send their incarnations to trade with the Fortune mainland. As time passed, the connection between the two mainlands and the Fortune mainland was naturally severed. In fact, according to some inaccurate information I've obtained, due to the large number of fierce beasts on the Fortune mainland, the human race had developed many good things to deal with the various dangers. For example, immortal arts and artifact refining techniques that are different from our Heavenly Desolate region and Eastern Desolate region's artifact refining techniques have their merits. It's a pity that these immortal arts and artifact refining techniques are too low level in the eyes of those supreme experts. It's not worth it for them to mobilize a large force, or even use a transmission technique that only a son of chaos can use to make a trip to the Fortune mainland. As for those ordinary cultivators who view these treasures as divine artifacts, they don't have the ability to make a trip to the Fortune mainland. Immortal arts? Artifact refining techniques? Yes, these immortal arts and artifact refining techniques are often mysterious and strange. Some immortal arts and artifacts may not be known for their destructive power, but they are extraordinary. In the future, if you meet a son of chaos from the Fortune mainland in the Chaos Shrine, you can talk to them in detail. If you can learn 1 or 2 immortal arts from them, you can often display unimaginable effects under certain special circumstances. Xing Hui nodded. Heaven's Inquisition didn't ask why Xing Hui wanted information on the Fortune mainland. No matter how hard he racked his brain, he couldn't imagine that Xing Hui's Chaos Realm had actually reached the 30th Order. When he was teleporting to the Fortune mainland, he had exceeded the range of the transmission technique. Chapter 296. Nameless Mountain Range. Xing Hui regained his senses, and his gaze fell on the White Tiger Stronghold chief, who was trembling with fear. Recalling that Tianwen had mentioned the Fortune mainland's unique immortal arts and artifact refining techniques, Xing Hui pondered for a moment, and said, I want to enter the Purple Cloud Palace to cultivate several top immortal arts and artifact refining techniques. Do you have any methods? The White Tiger Stronghold chief had a bitter expression. The Purple Cloud Palace is one of the 6 supreme sects of our human race. The top immortal arts in the Purple Cloud Palace are equivalent to our human race's most powerful secret techniques. How would I, a small stronghold chief, know how to learn these secret techniques? If Senior really wants to learn those top immortal arts, why don't you join the Purple Cloud Palace and make contributions? As long as you make enough contributions, you may be able to exchange for 1 or 2 top immortal arts to enhance your strength. The Purple Cloud Palace's disciples need to have a clean background. I came from the outside world, so my identity can't withstand scrutiny. How can I gain the Purple Cloud Palace's trust and sneak into the Purple Cloud Palace? Xing Hui snorted coldly. The White Tiger Stronghold chief was at a loss for a moment, as if he had thought of something, and his eyes suddenly lit up. Since Senior came from the outside world, and those powerful sea region overlords couldn't do anything to Senior, then your cultivation must be high, right? If Senior's cultivation is shocking, then you don't need to enter the Purple Cloud Palace. Find a first-rate sect to join, and help that sect to obtain a high enough ranking in the Fortune Divine Jade battle, then you can obtain the opportunity to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade. At that time, you will definitely be able to comprehend a powerful immortal art from the Fortune Divine Jade, and dominate for a while. Wait a minute, what did you say, Fortune Divine Jade? Xing Hui originally didn't think that this small White Tiger Stronghold chief could give him any good ideas, but when he heard the White Tiger Stronghold chief spit out the words Fortune Divine Jade, his heart trembled, and he impatiently asked, What Fortune Divine Jade? What's so special about this Fortune Divine Jade? Fortune Divine Jade. After so many years, he actually heard the name of the Fortune Divine Jade again. It was a name that was exactly the same as the name of the Fortune Divine Jade in his mind. It should be said that the reason Xing Hui could achieve what he had today and reach the Blue Hell Realm in a few years was largely due to the Fortune Divine Jade's continuous improvement in the chaotic realm. Without this Fortune Divine Jade, it was unknown whether he could cultivate Gang Qi or not. When the White Tiger Stronghold chief mentioned the Fortune Mainland's most prized treasure, he recovered a trace of vigor. Speaking of this Fortune Divine Jade, it is really blessed by the heavens. It is the top treasure of our Fortune Mainland, and it belongs to the wealth of our entire Fortune Mainland. Many of the Fortune Mainland's immortal arts and treasure refining techniques were comprehended from the Fortune Divine Jade by our ancestors. It is said that the activation of the Fortune Divine Jade requires the use of a mysterious item called Dao Aura. This mysterious item is usually only found by those high and mighty geniuses. Ordinary people don't even know if the Dao Aura is real or fake. When these geniuses find a certain amount of Dao Aura, they can use a special method to let the Fortune Divine Jade absorb and transform it, thus activating the Fortune Divine Jade. Of course, this lowly one has also heard of a legend. It is said that the Fortune Divine Jade has the ability to accumulate this mysterious energy, but the efficiency is extremely slow, and it can only be activated once every 1,000 years. However, no one has confirmed the authenticity of this legend. The Fortune Divine Jade has the mysterious ability to absorb Dao Aura. Yes, it can't be wrong, this must be the Fortune Divine Jade. There was a trace of excitement in Xing Hui's eyes. How could the Fortune Divine Jade that had merged with him not have the ability to increase one Dao Aura every day? However, it could only be activated once every 1,000 years. Didn't that mean that to activate the Fortune Divine Jade once, it would cost a total of 365,000 Dao Aura? Wasn't the Fortune Mainland lacking in Dao Aura? How could they accumulate 365,000 Dao Aura to activate it? The conditions to activate the Fortune Divine Jade are so harsh, how could the Fortune Mainland activate it? Harsh? The head of the White Tiger Stronghold was stunned. After a while, he nodded and said, that is quite harsh. Only sects with 10 Tao rhymes have the right to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade after activating it. Once 100 sects have accumulated 1,000 Tao rhymes and reached the standard of activating the Fortune Divine Jade, these 100 sects will have a competition among the younger generation. Any cultivator under the age of 100 can use this competition to determine the ranking. The sect that ranks first will have the Fortune Divine Jade for a month, the second will have half a month, the third will have 10 days, and the fourth to 10th will have 5 days. Moreover, to ensure the interests of the other sects, each sect can only have one spot. Wait, 1,000 Dao Aura. Activating the Fortune Divine Jade only requires 1,000 Dao Aura. Xing Hui suddenly asked. Shouldn't it be 365,000 Dao Aura? It's exactly 1,000 Dao Aura. Senior, you mustn't underestimate this 1,000 Dao Aura. Usually, many sects on the mainland, including the 6 supreme sects, would need more than 10 years to gather all the Dao Aura. You have to know that the Fortune Divine Jade was originally monopolized by the supreme sections. However, they were too slow in gathering Dao Aura, so they publicized the Fortune Divine Jade. They wanted to gather the power of the entire mainland to gather Dao Aura and shorten the activation time. After all, when it comes to genius disciples, the 6 supreme sects undoubtedly have a unique advantage. They usually occupy the top 6 spots, and the remaining 4 spots are divided by other sects, so, you're saying that the Fortune Divine Jade can only accumulate 1 Dao Aura in a year? Xing Hui waved his hand and interrupted the White Tiger Stronghold chief. This should be. Xing Hui looked at the White Tiger Stronghold chief. Although the White Tiger Stronghold chief in front of Huang Xiaolong had the strength of a true Qi cultivator, in the entire Fortune Mainland, he belonged to the lower echelons. He had no access to any high-level secrets, even though the secret of the Fortune Divine Jade was widely known on the Fortune Mainland. When was the last time the Fortune Divine Jade was activated? When will the next time the Fortune Divine Jade was activated? The last time should be 15 years ago. Because the discovery of treasures called Dao Aura is often dependent on luck, and the more treasures are discovered, the fewer there are left. Therefore, the Fortune Divine Jade's activation time is not fixed. The fastest time it was activated was 1 year, and the slowest time it was a full 43 years. When Xing Hui heard this, he finally understood why the people of the Fortune Mainland rarely traded with the people of the Heaven Wasteland world on the level of Dao Aura. Moreover, the Chaos Temple rarely saw the Sons of Chaos from the Fortune Mainland. The cost was too high. Without enough profit, no almighty expert would descend on the Fortune Mainland. Another reason was that these cultivators had fed the Fortune Divine Jade with all the Dao Aura treasures. They simply did not have enough Dao Aura to trade with them or to raise their cultivation level. The world is so big, nothing is too strange. Xing Hui muttered. The White Tiger Stronghold chief looked at Xing Hui with trepidation, and his heart was filled with apprehension. Where is the Fortune Divine Jade now? The Fortune Divine Jade is usually guarded by the 6 supreme holy sects. Now, it should be the Great Sun Divine Palace's turn. Great Sun Divine Palace, there was no need to guess. This was definitely a sect that cultivated the Golden Crow bloodline or the Shining Dragon bloodline. That Fortune Divine Jade is definitely a supreme treasure like my Fortune Divine Jade, but I don't know why, but that Fortune Divine Jade needs a year to accumulate 1 Dao Aura, while my Fortune Divine Jade only needs a day. Puzzled, Xing Hui's gaze fell on the White Tiger Stronghold chief, and he asked solemnly, I want to take a look at that Fortune Divine Jade. How should I do it? The Fortune Divine Jade is guarded by the Great Sun Divine Palace, and this kind of supreme treasure belongs to the entire Fortune Mainland. It is definitely guarded by the Great Sun Divine Palace's immortal Golden Core experts, and they dare not slack off. If Senior wants to take a look, it's too much. Before the White Tiger Stronghold chief could finish his words, he seemed to have thought of something and hurriedly added, Senior only wants to take a look at the Fortune Divine Jade? Can't see the real thing. How about a picture? Qing Su also felt that the White Tiger Stronghold chief's words made sense. For such a treasure, the supreme sect in charge of safekeeping it on the Fortune Mainland would definitely mobilize all of its forces to guard it. With more than a dozen Saint Realm experts guarding it, it wasn't something he could covet right now. All right. Senior, please bring me to the nearest city with the Purple Firmament Palace's branch. This Fortune Divine Jade was first discovered by the Purple Firmament Palace's founder, Xiang Jun, and it can be traced back to 4,000 years ago. His portrait is of him holding a picture in one hand and wearing a jade in the other. The picture is a yin-yang diagram that the Purple Firmament Palace refined from the Fortune Divine Jade. This jade is our Fortune Mainland's supreme treasure, the Fortune Divine Jade. Very good. Xing Hui nodded, then glanced at the White Tiger Stronghold chief and said, I already know most of the information I want to know. I will take a look at the Fortune Divine Jade's true appearance myself. As for you, you don't need to follow me. The White Tiger Stronghold chief was taken aback, then his body trembled from head to toe as he pleaded, Senior, Junior has already told Senior everything he knows. Senior, please spare my life on the account that I have told you everything I know. I want to spare you. Unfortunately, you know too much. The moment Xing Hui finished speaking, the White Tiger Stronghold chief's eyes widened, and he turned around to flee. In the next moment, a sword light whistled through the air. A sword chi pierced through the back of the White Tiger Stronghold chief's head and exited from between his eyebrows. The sword chi's momentum did not diminish as it pierced through an ancient tree and into the ground. Fortune Divine Jade. After killing the White Tiger Stronghold chief, Xing Hui did not linger. He once again soared into the air, flying towards one of the cities he had come from earlier. After traveling 300 kilometers, the city appeared before his eyes. Xing Hui flew above the city on his sword and searched for a moment. Soon, he found a branch of the Purple Cloud Palace on a hill only 3 kilometers away from the city. Xing Hui lowered his sword and landed in front of the Purple Cloud Palace's branch. Seeing Xing Hui fly over on his sword, the 2 disciples guarding the Purple Cloud Palace's branch did not dare to be careless. They cautiously went up and bowed, Senior, may I know why you have come to our Purple Cloud Palace's branch? I have a matter. I would like to visit your branch's dean. Please lead the way, Tsing Hui said. The disciple saw that Tsing Hui's cultivation was extraordinary, and he had an elegant demeanor. He hesitated for a moment and said, Senior, please follow me to the living room. I will get someone to inform the dean. Tsing Hui nodded and followed the disciple into the Purple Cloud Palace's branch. After walking for a while in the branch, Tsing Hui seemed to have thought of something. He suddenly said, My family is indebted to the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestor. Since I have come to the Purple Cloud Palace, please allow me to go to the main hall to burn a stick of incense for the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestor. The disciple was slightly stunned, but he did not refuse this request. Senior, you are too kind. Since you want to burn incense for our ancestor, this way please. Tsing Hui nodded and followed the disciple to the main hall. Soon, he stepped into the main hall. In front of the main hall, there was a lifelike portrait of the ancestor that seemed to contain some special charm. Tsing Hui did not look at the ancestor's face at all. Instead, his gaze fell on the right hand of the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestor. Xiang Jun seeing the item in the right hand of the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestor, Tsing Hui finally understood why the White Tiger Stronghold's chief said that the ancestor held a picture in one hand and wore a jade in the other. Jade. It was the Fortune Divine Jade. It looked exactly the same as the Fortune Divine Jade that had merged with Tsing Hui's body. This piece of Fortune Divine Jade was cast into a ring and worn on the middle finger of the Purple Cloud Palace's ancestor. However, it was only 1/10 the size of the Fortune Divine Jade in Tsing Hui's hand. Chapter 297. Qing Su glanced at the Fortune Jade in the Ancestral Master's ring. Afterwards, he looked inside himself and found the Fortune Jade that had fused with his mental world. Immediately, he discovered that the Fortune Jade actually had 3 missing corners. There were 3 missing corners, 1 big and 2 small. Among them, 2 of the missing corners accounted for about 1/10 of the entire Fortune Jade, while the bigger one accounted for 1/4 of the entire Fortune Jade. Originally, Qing Su did not pay much attention to the chipped corners. He only thought that the Divine Jade was like that. However, now that he saw the Fortune Jade in the Ancestral Master's ring, he discovered that the Fortune Jade just happened to be compatible with the Fortune Jade in his mental world. The 2 of them were one. I must get my hands on this Fortune Jade. Tsing Hui muttered to himself. However, he didn't stop there. He took the incense from the disciple, lit it, bowed slightly, and placed it in the incense burner in front of him. When Tsing Hui finished lighting the incense and walked toward the living room, he saw a middle-aged man in a purple-gold robe walking toward the living room. Seeing this man, the disciple quickly introduced him to Tsing Hui. This is the dean of our Purple Cloud Palace branch, Sage Zi Yuan. Dong Yang greets Sage Zi Yuan. Dong Yang bowed slightly to the middle-aged man. This city wasn't considered a big one. It was slightly smaller than Tongyun City, so the dean stationed here didn't have a high cultivation base. Like Tsing Hui, he was in the Blue Nether Realm. However, Tsing Hui was at the peak of the Blue Nether Realm, while Sage Zi Yuan was only at the middle stage. You're too kind, Your Excellency Dong Yang. Please come in. Although Sage Zi Yuan was a disciple of one of the Purple Cloud Palace's major sects, he didn't put on airs in front of Tsing Hui. With a wave of his hand, he led Tsing Hui to the living room. After a round of tea and snacks, the purple Taoist cut to the chase. May I know what business you have with us? This matter is related to an ancient tome of the Purple Cloud Palace. I once flipped through some of the tome by chance and found some unknown runes, but I didn't understand what they meant. All these years, I've been thinking of ways to understand the meaning of these runes. Yesterday, I suddenly bought a tome of your esteemed sect in the antique market and found similar runes in that tome. Thus, I couldn't wait to come here and ask for your guidance, Sage Zi Yuan. Oh, I wonder what ancient book it is. I've been searching for the meaning of these runes for more than 10 years. When I first obtained the book, I was so agitated that I lost control of my genuine chi and accidentally damaged it. This is also the reason why I'm distressed. I wonder if Your Excellency Dong Yang still remembers how to write those runes. Taoist Ziyuan smiled. The Purple Cloud Palace was a supreme sect, but the Purple Cloud Enlightened Man was only one of the countless branches of the Purple Cloud Palace. Moreover, it was one of the weaker branches. If he could befriend a powerhouse at the peak of the Blue Netherworld realm and make them owe him a favor, he naturally wouldn't refuse. Many thanks, Sage. I do remember some of these runes. Go prepare some ink, paper, and inkstone. Sage Ziyuan said to the attendant at the door. Before long, a few children came with the ink, paper, and inkstone. Xing Hui carefully recalled the many runes in the ancestral hall and vaguely wrote down a dozen or so of them. Sage Ziyuan was slightly taken aback by the runes Xing Hui had written down, but he nodded and said, "These mysterious runes are indeed recorded in some of the tome of our Purple Cloud Palace. Moreover, due to certain special reasons, some of our people have studied these runes for over 1,000 years. Alas, they still haven't been able to decipher all of them, only a rough idea. This shows just how mysterious and obscure these runes are." As time passed, no one apart from a few ancient clans that have been passed down for 3,000 years has studied the meaning of these runes. As a result, it won't be easy for Your Excellency Dong Yang to understand the true meaning of these runes. Are there still people studying these runes in your esteemed sect? I wonder if I could trouble you to tell them that I would like to pay them a visit in person. Sage Ziyuan hesitated for a moment before saying, "Currently, the only ones still studying these mysterious runes are the Sea Clan. The Sea Clan used to be one of the largest factions in Purple Cloud Palace, and they once had an ancestor who cultivated endless true chi. However, because they poured a great deal of effort into these runes, they gradually declined over the past few thousand years. Now, they don't even have a single true energy realm Saint Realm Elder in the clan. As a result, the Sea Clan didn't retreat to Sky Pillar Mountain like the rest of our sect. Instead, they remain in the original sect of Purple Cloud Palace. Why don't you pay them a visit?" Xing Hui muttered to himself for a moment before nodding. "Thank you for your trouble, Sage Ziyuan. It's no problem. I can't really help you with this matter. Then I'll make a trip to Purple Cloud Palace first and pay a visit to the Sea Clan. It won't be too late to pay you a visit after I return." "No rush, no rush." When the sage of Ziyuan saw how Qing Su was about to leave, he said in a hurry, "If Sir Dong Yang goes to visit just like that, you might not be able to meet the family of my superior. If Sir Dong Yang doesn't mind, why don't you become an honorary guest of our branch? Even if you're only an honorary guest, you can still be considered a deacon in Purple Cloud Palace. You won't bring shame to your status as a Blue Netherworld realm expert." "An honorary guest?" Xing Hui's heart skipped a beat. "May I ask what kind of powers an honorary guest has and what kind of responsibilities an honorary guest has?" An honorary guest is a rather revered position in Purple Cloud Palace. Although there are some differences between an honorary guest and a true guest, you can still enjoy all the privileges of a deacon in Purple Cloud Palace. As for your responsibilities, it's entirely up to you, Senior Dong Yang. Normally, if there's something we need to deal with in Purple Cloud Palace and a disciple's cultivation isn't enough, we'll need the assistance of an honorary guest. You have the right to refuse such requests, but if you don't complete the sect's mission or contribute to Purple Cloud Palace, we won't be able to pass on some of the top treasures, immortal arts, and cultivation methods that belong to Purple Cloud Palace to you." "I understand." Xing Hui nodded. "Since you think so highly of me, I'll respectfully accept." "Good." Taoist Purple Cloud smiled and said, "Please tell me about your cultivation, realm, and background so that I can report your information to the higher-ups." "I'm from Nanzhao Kingdom's Tianjin Guard. My family head is from Falling Cloud Mountain's Tenli village. However, our village suffered a calamity 14 years ago. I'm afraid it won't be easy to investigate this. As for my cultivation and cultivation method," Xing Hui pondered for a moment. When he thought about the blue netherworld realm strength he had displayed and the lofty status of a son of chaos on the Fortune continent, he still said, by chance, I obtained the inheritance of a fourth stage son of chaos. Since then, I've befriended a big shot in the Chaos Shrine. That big shot taught me everything. Inheritance of chaos? Taoist Purple Cloud was both surprised and delighted when he heard Xing Hui's identity as a son of chaos. You're actually a son of chaos. Good. What a great opportunity. Good luck. If you're a son of chaos, do you have any treasures on you? Treasures of Tao. Xing Hui's heart skipped a beat. I happen to have some. When I was traveling, I was lucky enough to obtain 4 treasures of Tao. 4 Taoist rhymes? That's great. You've succeeded. If you're willing to contribute these 4 Taoist rhymes to the Purple Cloud Palace, we can go to the Purple Cloud Palace and ask you to enter the Sutra Holding Pavilion and choose an immortal technique as a reward. Taoist Purple Cloud's eyes were filled with hope. I want to compete for one of the 10 spots in the Fortune Grand Banquet and comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade. These 4 Tao, comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade? Taoist Purple Cloud sized up Xing Hui and calmed down a little. You're not over 100 years old. Nope. Well. It's indeed impressive to reach the peak of the blue netherworld realm before the age of 100, but you'll have to face the geniuses carefully groomed by the 6 supreme sects and many first-rate sections. They might not be much weaker than you. Judging from the strength of the top 10 in the past Fortune Grand Banquets, they're usually in the prominent divine stage or even the true energy stage. Prominent divine stage? True energy stage. That's right. The top 6 of the 6 supreme sects in the last Fortune Grand Banquet were all in the true energy stage without exception. The first and third places have all cultivated saint-grade true energy. Their futures are limitless. The top 6 require the cultivation of the saint realm, so I naturally have no chance of competing. However, I can compete for the rankings from the 7th to the 10th. In fact, I could have broken through to the Vision Divine stage long ago, but I have been stuck at the peak of the blue underworld realm because I wanted to lay a good foundation and cultivate a divine-grade battle body. If the creation pageant is held a year later, I am confident that I can reach the Vision Divine stage and condense a divine-grade battle body within a year. Divine-grade battle body? Spiritual Master Zi Yuan couldn't help but gasp when he heard these few words. He carefully sized up Xing Hui and indeed felt a vast and profound aura from Xing Hui. Although he was at the peak of the blue netherworld realm, he was undoubtedly much stronger than ordinary peak blue netherworld realm experts. A genius. This was a true prodigy of the heavens. It would be a waste if such a genius was not accepted into the sect. If Your Excellency Dong Yang really wants to participate in the Fortune Grand Banquet, it's not impossible. However, would Your Excellency please come with me to the Purple Cloud Palace? Xing Hui nodded. The strongest experts in the Purple Cloud Palace were the few Transcendent Realm experts. Due to the lack of trade between the Fortune continent and the Heaven Wasteland world, there weren't many divine weapons on the Fortune continent. With the help of the 9th grade flying sword, even if he encountered danger in the Purple Cloud Palace, he could rely on the divine technique to force his way out. I'm just about to visit the Sea family at the Purple Cloud Palace to ask about these mysterious runes. Alright, let's not delay any longer. When we arrive at the Purple Cloud Palace, I'll definitely give Your Excellency a satisfactory answer. Chapter 298. The Purple Cloud Palace seemed to have received Sage Zi Yuan's message in advance. When he brought Xing Hui to the Purple Cloud Palace, there were already a dozen people waiting in the main hall. Among these people, there were 6 saint stage experts who had cultivated true essence, and the remaining 11 were all figures at the peak of the immortality stage at the Vision Saint stage. This kind of momentum was comparable to any of the 10 great saint sects in the eastern wilderness. As Sage Zi Yuan brought Xing Hui to the main hall, almost everyone's eyes fell on Xing Hui. If it were not for the fact that Qing Su possessed a divine technique, cultivated God-grade true Qi himself, and wielded a Class 9 flying sword, flowing fire, he probably would have lost his composure and panicked under the gazes of several true energy and over a dozen vision saint experts. Greetings, Palace Master. Greetings, Elders. The Reverend Zi Yuan walked up and bowed to everyone politely before saying to Qing Su, Sir Dongyang, this is the Palace Master of our Purple Cloud Palace, Palace Master Xiang Hong. These are the elders of our Purple Cloud Palace, Xiang Meng, Reverend Zi Hao, Reverend Zi Ming, Reverend Tong Yun, Reverend Hellfire. Sage Zi Yuan introduced them one by one. Although he was only at the Green Underworld stage, based on his name and the fact that he was able to become the dean of a branch academy, his own seniority and background were extraordinary. Therefore, he did not appear to be too servile in front of the few true energy stage elders. Junior brother Zi Yuan, is this the young talent you want to introduce to our Purple Cloud Palace? I heard that Your Excellency Dong Yang wants to attain a divine grade battle body. Can you let us see? Sage Zi Hao, one of the 6 true essence realm experts, could not wait to ask. Your Excellency Dong Yang, Sage Zi Yuan turned to Tsing Hui, and Tsing Hui nodded. Immediately, the aura of a peak blue netherworld realm expert appeared above his head, and the pressure of a divine beast bloodline rolled out. The true essence realm elders were better off, but the dozen or so prominent saint stage experts were aghast, especially Sage Zi Yuan, who was standing beside Tsing Hui. He could not help but take 10 steps back as he looked at Tsing Hui, who was exuding a vast aura, with a shocked expression. The Golden Crow. It's the bloodline of the Golden Crow Divine Beast. Such a powerful Golden Crow Divine Beast has great hope of attaining a divine grade battle body. Sage Hellfire's eyes flashed as he looked at Tsing Hui with a hint of battle intent. He had awakened the bloodline of the Hell Flame Beast. Although it was merely a spiritual beast, he was still a cultivator of the fire lineage. Now that he saw the Golden Crow, the overlord of fire, he naturally wanted to see what was so special about it. It's really amazing. It's extremely difficult for our 6 supreme sects to cultivate such an outstanding disciple. I didn't expect that today. Anything is possible for the Son of Chaos. That's right. With the Chaos Divine Hall, as long as this Son of Chaos can establish a relationship with an important figure, that person will be in a good mood and give him some guidance. It won't be difficult for him to cultivate to such a level. The true energy realm elders studied Qing Su, and they were filled with envy. However, Xiang Meng's eyes flashed as he said to Palace Master Xiang Hong, could he be a spy sent by another faction? A spy? How is that possible? If he's only shown that he has the potential to cultivate a saint-grade battle physique, then he might be a spy. However, a cultivator who has the potential to cultivate a divine-grade battle physique is extremely precious in any sect. He will definitely be groomed as a future sect master. Sending such a disciple to another sect as a spy. Those sect masters wouldn't do such a thing even if they were stupid. Xiang Hong said with a smile. Xiang Meng pondered for a moment and found that to be reasonable. The young man named Dong Yang was so talented that it was impossible for those supreme sects to send him as a spy. It was just like when 2 countries were at war. Even if it was somewhat despicable, they would never send their crown prince to spy in the other country's territory. Investigate this person's background carefully. If there's nothing suspicious, we have to keep him in the Purple Cloud Palace no matter what. Xiang Hong made up his mind. Ziyuan Daoist spoke up again. His Excellency Dong Yang possesses an item with 4 Daoist rhythms. However, he wishes to study the Fortune Jade and learn immortal arts and combat arts from it. What is the decision of the elders and palace lords? For Daoist rhymes, the Fortune Continent's Daoist rhymes were precious and Xiang Hong didn't want to miss out on it. After pondering for a moment, he said bluntly, Dong Yang, if you're willing to offer up the item with 4 Daoist rhymes, I can give you a chance to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering. If you can stand out in the Fortune Grand Gathering, you'll have half the time to comprehend the Fortune Jade regardless of your ranking. What do you think? Palace Master, each sect can only send 1 person to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering. Headquarters has already decided on the participants. Sage Cun said. Don't worry, I have my own plans. Don't forget that the Purple Cloud Palace has secretly supported several sects over the years. Those sects have a heritage of more than 1,000 years, but because they don't have enough Daoist rhymes and Sons of Chaos, they don't qualify to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering. We already have the item with Daoist rhymes, but as for the Sons of Chaos, Palace Master Xiang Heng's gaze fell on Xing Hui. There's already one here. There were 3 qualifications to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering. A sect with a heritage of 1,000 years, a Daoist rhyme item with 10 Daoist rhymes, and a Son of Chaos. A Son of Chaos. In the entire Fortune mainland, there were very few Sons of Chaos, less than a third of the eastern wilderness. According to the statistics provided by Tian Wen, there were less than 200 Sons of Chaos on the Fortune mainland. One had to know that the Fortune Grand Gathering required 100 sects to contribute 10 Daoist rhymes, and there were less than 200 Sons of Chaos. It was easy to imagine how difficult it would be to divide the Sons of Chaos among 100 sections. Therefore, even though many sects had nurtured powerful geniuses, had a heritage of 1,000 years, and had accumulated enough Daoist rhymes, they couldn't qualify to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering because they didn't have a Son of Chaos. This method is feasible. The elders looked at each other and nodded. Dong Yang, are you willing to join the Purple Cloud Palace and become a member of the Purple Cloud Palace? When Xiang Heng saw this, his gaze fell on Xing Hui, and he asked solemnly. The Purple Cloud Palace is one of the 6 supreme sects of the Fortune mainland. It is Dong Yang's fortune to be able to cultivate in the Purple Cloud Palace. Good. Xiang Heng nodded with satisfaction. However, since you want to comprehend the mysteries of the Fortune Jade and use its power to comprehend immortal arts, you can't participate in the sect ceremony during this period. You can't even be recorded in the disciple register and go to the Pillar of Heaven's Mountain's headquarters to pay a visit to the sect master and the various ancestors. After all, you should know that a sect only allows one disciple to participate in the Fortune Grand Gathering. This is an ironclad rule that none of the 6 supreme sects can violate. Otherwise, if something goes wrong, it could lead to an all-out war like 3,000 years ago, resulting in countless casualties. Everything will have to wait until the Fortune Grand Gathering is over. I will follow the sect's arrangements. Xing Hui said, then asked, when will the Fortune Grand Gathering be held? It has been more than 10 years since the last time the Fortune Grand Gathering was held. According to the original plan, it will be held in the 8th month of next year, which is 10 months later. However, you have not broken through to the prominent divine stage. Even if your foundation is strong, it will not be easy for you to enter the top 10 before it can be converted into battle strength. Therefore, we can send a message to the headquarters and ask them to postpone the Fortune Grand Gathering by 1 or 2 months. This is a small matter that can be done with the Purple Cloud Palace's face, but you have to promise that you will step into the prominent divine stage within a year. Otherwise, don't blame us for not waiting for you. Please rest assured, Palace Master. I will definitely break through and condense the Golden Crow divine body within a year. Xing Hui said confidently. Good, I believe you. Since you are now a member of our Purple Cloud Palace, as long as you make contributions, you will be able to obtain many immortal arts and secret treasures from our Purple Cloud Palace. If you want to obtain these contributions, you can do things for the sect or complete the tasks assigned by the elders. You can also turn in heavenly treasures, divine abilities, immortal arts, and secret cultivation techniques. As long as I make enough contributions, I will be able to obtain many immortal arts and secret treasures. Xing Hui's heart stirred. Even Tian Wen, an experienced and knowledgeable cultivator from the Heavenly Secret Pavilion, highly praised the immortal arts and secret treasures of the Fortune Grand Gathering mainland, claiming that they had endless magical uses before breaking through to the Almighty Realm. Xing Hui was naturally very curious. However, immortal arts and secret treasures were often in the hands of the supreme sects and first-rate sections. It was not easy to obtain them. Xing Hui had always wanted to see them, but now that he had such an opportunity, he really did not want to miss it. After weighing the pros and cons, Xing Hui said bluntly, I am willing to offer my cultivation technique to Palace Master and Elders. I wonder if it is considered a contribution. Hearing Xing Hui's words, Palace Master Xiang Hong, Spiritual Master Zi Ming, Spiritual Master Zi Hao, and the other elders were overjoyed. They hurriedly asked, Your cultivation technique? Since you can cultivate divine-grade true qi and there is hope for you to condense a divine-grade battle physique, your cultivation technique must be extraordinary. If you are willing to offer it, it can be considered a great contribution. My cultivation technique is the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. There are 6 stages in total. Palace Master and Elders, please take a look. Xing Hui directly took out the Great Sun Golden Crow technique. Great Sun Golden Crow technique? I wonder how it compares to the Great Sun Divine Palace's Great Sun Illuminating World technique. Quick, let me take a look. Xiang Hong and the other elders quickly took the Great Sun Golden Crow technique that Xing Hui had engraved with his spiritual force and began to comprehend it. Great Sun Illuminating World technique. Xing Hui's heart skipped a beat when he heard the elders mention this supreme technique of the Great Sun Divine Palace. Compared to the Torch Dragon bloodline, there were more than 10 cultivation techniques for the Golden Crow bloodline, and the Great Sun Illuminating World technique was one of them. However, the Great Sun Golden Crow technique was more proficient in the cultivation of true qi and the Golden Crow divine body. The derived secret techniques, such as the Crimson Crow Soul and the Eternal Blazing Sun, could not be used directly in battle. However, the Great Sun Illuminating World technique was more proficient in attacking and killing. If he could obtain the Great Sun Illuminating World technique and comprehend the method of using true qi to attack, he might be able to get rid of the drawback of having only one attack method and make the Golden Crow bloodline stronger in terms of combat strength. Chapter 299. This Great Sun Golden Crow technique is indeed mysterious. Eternal Blazing Sun. Cultivating the Great Sun Golden Crow technique can actually condense such a treasure. One Eternal Blazing Sun is equivalent to a full-powered attack of a divine body manifestation expert. If 10 Eternal Blazing Suns are used together, even a true energy realm expert will die. If one can have thousands of Eternal Blazing Suns, destroying a dozen Supreme Sage sects is not an extravagant hope. Stones from other mountains can be used to polish jade. This Great Sun Golden Crow technique may not have any powerful killing techniques recorded, but it is very inspiring in many aspects, especially in condensing the Golden Crow battle body. It is simply blessed by the heavens. No wonder Dong Yang is so confident that he can cultivate the divine-grade Golden Crow battle body. The elders of the Purple Cloud Palace spent less than an hour to roughly comprehend the mystery of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, and they all sighed. At the same time, the elders and the other prominent divine stage experts looked at Xing Hui in a completely different way. Since Xing Hui could contribute his cultivation technique to the sect without hesitation, it was obvious that he was not a spy of other sections. Perhaps he was not completely loyal to the sect, but it was enough to prove that he did not come to the Purple Cloud Palace with the purpose of harming them. Otherwise, why would he contribute such a powerful cultivation technique to strengthen the foundation of the Purple Cloud Palace? Xiang Hong, as the Palace Lord of the Purple Cloud Palace, naturally had to show his magnanimity of fair rewards and punishments to win over a genius disciple like Xing Hui with unlimited potential. He waved his hand and said, Dong Yang, you have contributed a great merit by contributing such a divine-grade cultivation technique. I will allow you to enter the Sutra Pavilion and choose any 3 immortal techniques or treasure-refining techniques to cultivate. In addition, to ensure your safety, I will also allow you to go to the outer treasury of the Purple Cloud Palace to choose an item as a reward. It can be a treasure of heaven and earth, a material for refining treasures, or a finished secret treasure. You can choose any one of them. Thank you, Palace Lord. Well, I will let Elder Zi Hao take you to the Sutra Pavilion and the outer treasury in a while. But before that, you have to discuss the following matters. Do you want to choose your own place for seclusion or let the sect arrange it for you? It would be best if the sect can help arrange it. Xing Hui said. Xiang Hong had a faint smile on his face. Alright, then you can go to Jurong Peak and cultivate in seclusion. My Purple Cloud Palace secretly controls over a dozen sects, big and small. There are also 4 sects that are qualified to participate in the fortune gathering. However, these 4 sects can only go through the motions. You cultivate the Great Sun Golden Crow technique, which is a supreme technique of the fire attribute. It's best for you to go to the Burning Sky sect where Jurong Peak is located. When the time comes, I will arrange for you to enter the Burning Sky sect. The Burning Sky sect was his subordinate sect. Naturally, it was up to him to decide what to do. Yes, Your Highness, Sing Hui said. Then, he paused for a moment. I still have some matters to discuss with the Sea family's deacons. I wonder, is it because of those mysterious runes? Our Purple Cloud Palace has studied those runes for thousands of years, but we still haven't figured out anything. Instead, because of our scattered efforts, the entire Sea family has gradually declined. Why do you want to waste your time on them like the Sea family? Dongyang, you should focus on cultivation now. Break through to the Vision Divine stage as soon as possible and cultivate a divine battle body. You only have 1 year at most. If you don't cultivate a divine battle body in this year, you won't have any advantage at the fortune gathering. Xiang Hong said in a serious tone. Please rest assured, Your Highness. I will not delay my cultivation because of those runes. Sing Hui said. In fact, he had the Golden Crow's soul essence and the Sunfall elixir. Once he took them and refined them, he would definitely be able to cultivate a divine battle body in 3 months. It was because of the teleportation technique. 1 year later, the teleportation spell would be off cooldown. When he obtained the opportunity to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade at the Fortune Gathering, he would directly use the teleportation spell and bring the Fortune Divine Jade back to the Eastern Wilderness world. That was his real purpose. If he could accomplish this goal and figure out the meaning of those mysterious runes in the Dongyang Sword Sect's Ancestral Master Hall, it would be great. Alright, since you were able to cultivate to this level, I believe that you are someone who has a clear plan for your path of cultivation. It's enough that you know what you are doing. I will arrange for people to assist you in your daily life in the palace. Thank you, Your Highness. Go and choose the celestial skills and treasures you need first. Yes. Come with me. Perfected Ziheo said. Then, he led Sing Hui out of the hall and into the mountain. After Sing Hui and Perfected Ziheo left the hall, Xiang Hong and the others immediately started a discussion. Elders and deacons, what do you think of Dongyang? Dongyang is able to cultivate divine-grade true qi and has a high chance of condensing a divine-grade battle physique. A supreme sect would definitely not be willing to take the risk of sending such a talented seedling to another sect. Furthermore, he did not hesitate to contribute his cultivation method. It is clear that he has coincidentally obtained the inheritor of a son of chaos. This kind of thing has happened before on the Fortune mainland, but for safety's sake, we should go to the Nanzhao Kingdom to investigate his background. Perfected Ziming said. I agree with Purple Ming's spiritual master. A cultivator who has the potential to condense a divine-grade battle body and a cultivator who has condensed an ordinary battle body are 2 different concepts. An ordinary battle body is not worth mentioning in front of a divine-grade battle body. A cultivator with a divine-grade battle body only needs to master powerful battle skills to end the battle quickly. It is not difficult for him to defeat a true energy realm elder. That's right. We can't give up such a good seedling just like that. After observing him for a few years and making sure that he has no ill intentions towards our Purple Cloud Palace, we will send him to the Pillar of Heaven's mountains and let the Grand Elders teach him personally. The other elders nodded in agreement. Xiang Hong also had the same idea. Very well, we will observe him carefully for a year or 2. If there is no problem, I will personally take him to the Pillar of Heaven's mountains to visit the ancestors. While Palace Master Xiang Hong, Daoist Hellfire, Daoist Tongyun, and the others were discussing the arrangements for Tsing Hui himself was led by Zihao to the Purple Cloud Palace's Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. The Hidden Scriptures Pavilion was an important place of the Purple Cloud Palace. Xing Hui's appearance in the mysterious cave earlier had alarmed the experts of the Purple Cloud Palace. At that time, several auras of transformative realm experts had shot up into the sky. One of them had come from the direction of the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. It was obvious that there was a transformative realm expert guarding this place. However, with Reverend Zihao personally leading the way this time, everything was calm. Our Purple Cloud Palace possesses a total of 149 immortal techniques of various sizes. Among the 149 immortal techniques, there are 92 ordinary immortal techniques, 38 high-level immortal techniques, and 9 supreme immortal techniques. As for treasure refinement techniques, there are a total of 44 types that can be used to refine various secret treasures. However, regardless of whether it's an immortal technique or a treasure refinement technique, the higher the grade, the better. Instead, it has to be suitable for you, so you have to act according to your abilities. Let's use the treasure refinement technique as an example. A very long time ago, we comprehended a supreme treasure refinement technique from there. It can be refined into a Tai Chi diagram. It's said that it's so powerful that it can quell the might of earth, water, fire, and wind, and transform the power of yin, yang, and the 5 elements. However, the materials required to refine the Tai Chi diagram are extremely harsh, so no one has managed to comprehend it in over 1,000 years. It has always been stored in our Purple Cloud Palace's Scripture Pavilion. If you choose that treasure refinement technique, you'll be wasting a precious opportunity. Tai Chi diagram. Xing Hui could not help but be stunned. Divine Jade of Fate. Tai Chi diagram. Suppress the power of earth, water, fire, and wind and transform yin, yang, and the 5 elements. What was going on? The one that suits you is the best. You can go now. Don't stay too long. Yes. Xing Hui answered and stepped into the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. Since there were less than 200 immortal arts and treasure refining techniques in the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion, the space inside was not big enough. Thus, Xing Hui was not overwhelmed. He stood at the door for a moment and took the lead to go to the treasure refining technique area. There were 44 treasure refining techniques in the Purple Cloud Palace. Among these 44 treasure refining techniques, there were only 20 that could be used to refine treasures. Moreover, it was said that the effects of the refined treasures were much worse than those described above. They were almost equivalent to simplified versions. Invisible Dragon Rod, Flying Smoke Sword, Golden Light File, 100 Spirits Banner, Plague Umbrella, Luapa Mirror, Air Frozen Bead, 1,000 Crow Pot, Tai Chi Diagram, 9 Dragons Divine Fire Shield, Sweeping Clouds Robe. Xing Hui glanced at them one by one. He saw that the treasures refined by these treasure refining techniques had all kinds of strange effects, and their effects were completely different. Some could set up plagues and destroy a country. Some could shake people's souls and scatter their souls. There were even those that contained divine fire that could refine all living beings. However, without exception, they were extremely powerful. Moreover, what surprised Xing Hui the most was that these treasures were very familiar to him. They seemed to be some of the top treasures in the ancient myths and legends of Earth. In a trance, the myths seemed to reflect into reality. Could it be that the legends of Earth's ancient myths and legends really exist? There are many top treasures, endless divine powers, and the so-called saints, golden immortals, and great divines? Xing Hui muttered to himself. After a long while, he slowly put down the 44th treasure refining technique that could refine the dragon binding rope and walked toward the many immortal arts in the sutra depository. Immortal arts of all sizes once again appeared in his mind one by one. Steel Finger, River Drawing, Soldier's Casting, Cloud Riding, Stone Turning to Gold, Clairvoyant Eye, Clairaudient Eye, Wind Controlling, Fog Spreading, Anidia, False Form, Aura Gazing, 5 Ghosts Transporting, Spirit Controlling. All kinds of immortal arts and divine powers flashed before Xing Hui's eyes one by one. Some of the great immortal arts could be called mysterious, but some of the ordinary ones were really useless. For example, wind controlling was just controlling the wind. There was also fog spreading, which was just summoning fog. In addition, there was anedia, which could prevent people from eating for dozens of days. Although these immortal arts were simple, they were not useless. Sometimes, if used well, they could produce incredible effects. For example, if one was being chased by an enemy, it would be much easier to escape if he summoned a fog that spread hundreds of kilometers in the void. There was also the wind controlling technique, which could also summon a gust of wind to block the cultivator chasing after him and greatly reduce his speed. As spiritual master Ziheo said, immortal arts were not weak or strong, but how they were used. When used properly, these immortal arts would be more effective than the sword techniques and secret techniques that were circulated in Heaven Wasteland domain. Chapter 300. 9 Supreme Immortal Techniques, Magic Arsenal, Golden Light Traversing, Reversal of Yin and Yang, Dragon Subduing and Tiger, 6 Armor of Wonders, 5 Elements Escape Technique, Size Manipulation, Spirit Flight, Moving Mountains and Filling Seas. Xing Hui glanced at the Supreme Immortal Arts one by one. In the end, he chose the Supreme Immortal Arts, Magic Arsenal and Reversal of Yin and Yang. As the Supreme Immortal Arts, they were undoubtedly more mysterious than the lesser immortal arts. In fact, among the remaining immortal arts, Xing Hui also took a fancy to the fasting technique, 5 ghosts transferring technique, and the supreme immortal art, spirit flight. The fasting technique could make people not have to worry about food when they were in seclusion. It should be known that if one suddenly had an inspiration during cultivation and fell into an epiphany, but had to interrupt the epiphany because of hunger, it would be too late for regrets. On the other hand, the 5 ghosts transport technique was extremely profound and could move objects silently without anyone noticing. As for the spirit flight, it could condense the spirit into a primordial spirit, which could leave the body and travel freely in the great void. The primordial spirit was formless and intangible. If it could travel thousands of miles and gather information, it would be really easy. Unfortunately, he could only choose 3 immortal arts and treasure refining techniques. He had already taken a fancy to the air-frozen bead, so he could only choose 2 immortal arts. Fortunately, the 6 supreme sects all had their own spies, so the supreme immortal arts, high-level immortal arts, and ordinary immortal arts that they possessed were actually more or less the same. In terms of supreme immortal arts, there would be a difference of 2 or 3 at most, while ordinary immortal arts were passed down in first and second-rate sects or were similar to immortal arts. Qing Su progressed step by step and found a way to infiltrate the second and third-rate sections. After a few more attempts, he would eventually be able to find a way to obtain the immortal arts he wanted. With the 2 supreme immortal arts, reversal of yin and yang, and the refining method of the air-frozen bead, Xing Hui came to the sutra depository. Have you chosen? Perfected Ziheo said to Xing Hui, go and register. Yes. As Xing Hui spoke, he came before the scripture depository elder. Soldiers from casting beans, this immortal art is easy to get started with, but it's not easy to cultivate it to minor success, major success, or even perfection. Reversing yin and yang is also easy to get started with, but difficult to master. As for the air-frozen pearl, it's easy to refine and has high compatibility. Depending on the core material you use to refine it, the effects of the air-frozen pearl will vary. Some air-frozen pearls can only freeze natural gales, but the Soaring Serpent sect of the 6 great sects has refined an air-frozen pearl that can even freeze astral gales in the 9 heavens. With that air-frozen pearl, they can enter the 9 heavens and gather the power of wind and thunder to temper themselves. From time to time, they can even capture the power of stars and meteorites in the 9 heavens. Looking at Xing Hui's choice, Sage Ziheo nodded slightly. Air-frozen pearls had high compatibility, and different core materials could be used to refine air-frozen pearls with different effects. This was why Xing Hui had taken a fancy to this treasure's refining method. There was a boundary stone in Xing Hui's Chaos Treasure Pavilion. If he could buy that boundary stone and use it as the core to refine an air-frozen pearl. Just thinking about how mysterious the air-frozen pearl would be at that time made him look forward to seeing it. Of course, this was only one of Tsing Hui's plans. Whether he could refine such an air-frozen pearl in the end would depend on his means. Or rather, it would depend on the effect of the divine blessing technique. Let's go. I'll take you to the outer storehouse of our palace. It seems that there is a piece of 9 heavens divine stone in the outer storehouse of our Purple Cloud Palace. It's one of the high-grade gems used to refine the air-frozen pearl. Although the air-frozen pearl refined with the 9 heavens divine stone as the core can't compare with the air-frozen pearl of the Soaring Serpent sect, it's much more effective than the ones circulating on the market. Elder Zihao, please lead the way. Ha, it's my pleasure. Spiritual Master Zihao laughed heartily and led Tsing Hui toward the outer storehouse. There was also a Saint Realm expert overseeing the outer storehouse. Fortunately, Tsing Hui had been to the Heaven Wasteland domain and had seen many Jindan realm experts. Otherwise, if it were a cultivator coming out of the eastern wilderness for the first time, they would most likely be trembling with fear and trepidation when they saw that they would encounter a true energy boundary expert and be surrounded by prominent divine realm supreme elders. Elder Zihao took the palace lord's order and quickly finished negotiating with the elder guarding the outer storehouse. In the end, he turned to Tsing Hui and said, "You can choose the materials to refine the air-frozen pearl here, you can choose the heaven and earth treasures used for cultivation, and you can also choose the finished product. It's all up to you." "Yes." Tsing Hui responded and stepped into the storehouse. Although it was only the outer storehouse of the Purple Cloud Palace, the heaven and earth treasures, refining materials, and many other secret treasures were also extremely extraordinary, but the value was not as precious as the inner storehouse. The divine protection technique was to be left for the air-frozen pearl. Tsing Hui did not look at the heaven and earth treasures and refining materials, and went directly to the finished products. There were 300 or 400 finished products, and their performance was also different. Some of the performance of the secret treasures made Tsing Hui speechless. For example, the secret treasure in his hand called the 5 light stone could emit 5 kinds of light. Yes, that was it. There were no other effects. This kind of secret treasure was simply an eye-opener for Tsing Hui. Apart from being able to fool those girls who had not stepped onto the Tao of cultivation, what else could it be used for? Of course, in addition to this so-called 5 light stone, there were also some strange things that could be used. For example, the illusory spirit flower could transform into many herbal heaven and earth treasures. It could even simulate the spiritual fluctuation of the heaven and earth treasures. It was very effective when used to set up traps to lure people in. There was also the lightless stone, which was a magic treasure at the opposite end of the 5 light stone. It had the effect of absorbing light. If it was used in a dark and sealed environment, it could swallow all the light and make people unable to see their own fingers. In addition, there was also a more effective wind bag, which could accommodate all kinds of wind forces. The strongest one could accommodate the 9 heavens hurricane. If enough 9 heavens hurricane could be collected and released when facing the enemy, even thousands of cultivators in the longevity realm would be completely blown out. It was a great killing weapon used in group battles to destroy sects and clans. In order not to let Immortal Zihao wait for a long time, Tsing Hui finally chose a stick. The earth-shaking stick. The effect of this stick was not very useful in battle, but it could release a special kind of shock wave. When the cultivator kept hitting the same place over and over again, the shock wave would overlap, thus causing the chi of the earth vein to become chaotic and finally, cause an earthquake. The more chi of the earth vein gathered in a place, the more obvious the effect of the earth-shaking stick was. Seeing Tsing Hui take out the earth-shaking stick, Immortal Zihao was stunned, but he smiled and said, "Dong Yang, you found a good thing. The earth-shaking stick is useless in battle, but it has an incredible effect when used to destroy sects' mountain gates and formations." In the past, a true disciple of the Purple Cloud Palace had a bad relationship with a young master of a first-class sect. The young master of the first-class sect hid in the mountain gate and relied on the power of the formation to make the true disciple helpless. In the end, the young master of the sect paid a huge price to refine such a magical treasure, the earth-shaking stick. It could shake the earth 30,000 times and create a huge earthquake, completely destroying the sect's earth vein and causing a huge earthquake within 3,000 kilometers of the sect. The earth vein was destroyed, the mountains and rivers collapsed, and the sect's formation was naturally broken. Without the protection of the formation, the young master of the sect had to surrender and beg for mercy in front of the disciple of the Purple Cloud Palace. Xing Hui nodded. He chose the earth-shaking stick because it could destroy the earth vein and cause an earthquake. Currently, the create-evolved mysterious sect was wantonly creating the Gate of Fortune. Once the Gate of Fortune was completed, the other saint sects could do nothing to the create-evolved mysterious sect and could only retreat from that territory. It was through this method that the create-evolved mysterious sect was able to occupy a small portion of the eastern wilderness. According to Ling Yu's report, the create-evolved mysterious sect's overseas forces had already begun to move. They were spreading towards the eastern sea and had the intention of invading the Life Moon Alliance. He had to make some preparations in advance. With this earth-shaking stick, if the create-evolved mysterious sect dared to create more Gate of Fortune on some islands, he would dare to cause an earthquake at the bottom of the sea and use the power of a tsunami to completely destroy it. If they angered him, he could just sell the earth-shaking stick to the Limitless Sword sect. He believed that after the Limitless Sword sect knew the effects of the earth-shaking stick, they would definitely not mind taking out a sky-high price to buy this treasure from him. Elder. While Xing Hui was registering the item with the external elder, a middle-aged man with a prominent divine stage cultivation base had already appeared beside Sage Zihao and respectfully bowed. Wang Ke, you're here. Sage Zihao said to the middle-aged man before turning to Xing Hui and saying, Dongyang, I have already explained your matter to Wang Quebec. He will take you to the Xi family next. After the Xi family matters are settled, he will also take you to the Burning Sky sect. If you have any additional needs, just let him do it. Although he is not an elder of our Purple Cloud Palace, he has the status of a senior deacon and can make decisions for most matters. If you really have any difficulties, just go to the Supreme Ocean Hall to find me or go to the Grand Cloud Hall to ask for an audience with the Palace Master. Yes. Xing Hui acknowledged. The Purple Cloud Palace in the Central Plains was only a branch of the Purple Cloud Palace. The status of the elders here was almost on par with the Grand Elders of the Hunyuan Heaven sect. Although Xing Hui was valued by the Palace Master and several elders, it was impossible for the Palace Master to allow an elder to follow and serve him. Thank you for your trouble, elder. Ha, it's fine, it's fine. I'll wait for you to condense a divine-grade battle body. Let me see how extraordinary a divine-grade battle body is. Sage Zihao said with a smile. I won't disappoint elder in a year. Good, I'll wait for your performance in a year. Alright, I'll take my leave first. You can instruct Wang Ke in the future. Farewell, elder. Sage Zihao waved his hand and left on his sword. Guest elder Dongyang, are you going to the Xi family now or? I'll have to trouble Deacon Wang Ke to lead the way. I want to go to the Xi family now. Xing Hui said. Alright, please come with me. As Wang Ke said that, he gestured with his hand, and in the next moment, he had already risen into the air. He flew towards the cave at the back of the mountain through the Green Ruins teleportation technique. He stopped in a courtyard less than 3 kilometers away from the cave. The courtyard consisted of 6 courtyards. The largest one had 6 entrances and 6 exits like a palace. There were many cultivators living here, no less than a few hundred people. Wang Ke landed in the main courtyard with Xing Hui. Before he could step in and greet the master, a sloppy-looking old man of the blue netherworld realm quickly ran over from the side and hurriedly said, Your guest elder Dongyang, right? Where are the runes you found? Quick, write them all out and let me see. Don't miss a single one. Chapter 301. The old man looked to be extremely old and had a decaying aura on his body. Obviously, he was nearing the end of his life and was probably 300 to 400 years old. However, his spirit seemed to be rather vigorous, and his gaze towards Tsing Hui was bright and filled with yearning. This is Deacon Sikong Ming. Wang Ke looked at the old man and seemed to be slightly uncertain. Second uncle, this is a distinguished guest that the palace master personally ordered to be received properly. You must not come out and cause trouble. Chilwen, quickly bring your second grandfather down. At this moment, a few people walked out from the main courtyard, and a middle-aged man with a cultivation at the prominent saint stage shouted in a deep voice. Yes. Immediately, a man that was around 30 years old that was 80% similar to him walked out and swiftly arrived by Sikong Ming's side before pulling him towards the back of the courtyard. Why are you pulling me away? Wasn't this distinguished guest personally ordered by the palace master to look for our Sea clan to decipher those mysterious runes? In our entire Sea clan, when it comes to mysterious runes, who is more proficient than me? Who is more knowledgeable than me? Sikong Ming shouted with slight dissatisfaction, but he wasn't willing to leave. Si Chioin, what are you standing there for? Quickly bring your grandfather away with your cousin. The middle-aged man at the prominent saint stage shouted angrily at a young woman that was in a hurry at the entrance of the courtyard. Yes, I will bring grandfather away right now. The young woman, Si Chioin, hurriedly arrived by Sikong Ming's side and said in a low voice, Grandfather, let's return first. You are truly unsuitable to receive guests in your current state. This is a guest that the palace master personally ordered. If we are too disrespectful and give the palace master a bad impression, our Sea clan's resource allocation will probably be even lower. Quickly return with me, wait a moment. At this moment, Ching Su seemed to have seen through something, and he suddenly said, I've come to the Sea family for the sake of understanding the meaning of those mysterious talismans. Since Mr. Sikong Ming is the person with the greatest attainments in the talismans in the Sea family, then let me follow Mr. Sikong Ming to seek guidance. The middle-aged man in the Vision Divine stage hesitated. The analysis of the mysterious rune has been going on for thousands of years without any results, so there's no need to rush. Our Sea family has already prepared a banquet for guest elder Dong Yang. Do you think we should go and take a seat first? The palace master has an important task for me. When I first came to the Sea family, the palace master urged me to focus on the important matters. If I delay my time because of the banquet, I'm afraid the palace master will criticize me. Therefore, we should hurry up and understand the meaning of those mysterious runes and complete the important task the palace master has assigned us. Yes. The palace lord's orders are important. Since guest elder Dong Yang is in a hurry, you should go ahead. There will be plenty of opportunities in the future. The middle-aged man in the Vision Divine stage quickly said and seemed to be a little submissive. This is the Sea clan's patriarch, Si Xiali. The Sea clan was a famous clan in the past, and there were even people who condensed the immortal golden core in the clan. It's a pity that our ancestors were obsessed with comprehending the mysterious runes in the land of origin. Much of their energy and resources were squandered, and generation after generation, the Sea clan declined. Today, there is only Patriarch Si Xiali in the Vision Divine stage. Although Si Xiali has the heart to break the curse of analyzing the mysterious runes, it's a pity that the Sea clan has to do their best to analyze the meaning of those mysterious runes. In this situation, Si Xiali has the heart to improve the Sea clan, but facing the rules of the ancestors, he doesn't have the support of many people. Wang Ke said softly with a trace of regret in his voice, those mysterious runes look extremely mysterious and seem to contain infinite mysteries, but thousands of years of research have proven that they are useless. It's a waste of effort to study them, and it's harmful. At present, our Purple Cloud Palace has already given up on studying them. Guest elder Dong Yang must not indulge in it. Don't worry, Deacon Wang Quebec. I'm just curious. Now that I understand the strangeness of these mysterious runes, I naturally won't spend too much effort. Tsing Hui said with a smile. That's good. Wang Ke nodded repeatedly. Tsing Hui came before Sikong Ming. Deacon Sikong Ming, there's no brush, ink, paper, or inkstone here. I'm afraid it won't be easy for me to draw the complete runes. How about we go to the place where you studied the mysterious runes? Good, good, good. Come with me. Sikong Ming's face suddenly revealed a look of ecstasy. He quickly pulled Xing Hui and went to the courtyard where he lived. Seeing Sikong Ming being so reckless, Si Xiaoli's face darkened. Second uncle, you must not neglect guest elder Dong Yang. Palace Master Dong Yang personally came here and told him to treat him seriously, so Si Xiaoli had to be careful. Si Chioyin, follow them immediately. If guest elder Dong Yang has any requests, tell me immediately. Yes. Si Chioyin responded and quickly followed Sikong Ming with Wang Quebec. As soon as Sikong Ming stepped into his courtyard with Qing Su, a few old men with white beards immediately walked out from within. They said urgently, have you brought him over? Where are the runes? Where are the complete versions of the runes? I've already found some clues. The runes he brought actually correspond to the runes we've been studying over the years. There's a mysterious connection between the two. Quick, quick, quick. I feel that the long-cherished wish of our Si family for thousands of years will finally be realized today. Sikong Ming's eyes lit up when he heard the words of these white-bearded old men. Really? The runes he brought really correspond to the runes we've been studying? It can't be fake. Where are the other runes? We want the complete version of the runes. The white-bearded old men said as their gazes fell on Xing Hui and Wang Quebec. Their gazes were like hungry wolves that suddenly saw delicious meat after being starved for 3 days. Wang Ke stepped forward and was about to say something when Xing Hui waved his hand, indicating that it was fine. Wang Ke then said, I'll draw the runes for you now. However, I don't remember many of them. I'll try my best to restore them. You're the one who brought those mysterious runes. Then what are you waiting for? Come in and give us the runes. Xing Hui nodded and followed the old man into the hall. This hall was a little messy. There were all kinds of papers everywhere. The walls and drawing boards were also filled with all kinds of runes. There were also many stones that contained runes. Looking at this room, Xing Hui seemed to be able to imagine the effort and painstaking effort the Si clan had put into deciphering the meaning of these mysterious runes over the past few thousand years. Influenced by the environment here, Xing Hui didn't waste any time and quickly started writing on a blank drawing paper. He drew every rune that he remembered on the paper. However, although he was a member of the Eastern Sun Sword sect, he didn't go to places like the Ancestral Hall often. He really couldn't remember many of the tens of thousands of runes in the cave. After spending 2 hours, he only drew 1,200 runes. After another 2 hours, he added 120 runes. He really couldn't remember anything else. Is there more? Is there more? There shouldn't be more. These 2 runes should correspond to each other. There should be as many runes as there are on our side. We have a total of 10,800 runes. How can there only be 1,320 runes here? Where did you find these runes? Tell us the address and we'll find them ourselves. Yes. Where did you find them? A few Si clan elders surrounded Xing Hui and asked him all kinds of questions. Their voices were filled with urgency and desire. I only saw them in an ancient book. That book was destroyed when I was fighting with an expert. Xing Hui said. Destroyed? Why was it destroyed? Heavens! Is the heavens trying to destroy the future of our Si clan? Damn it! The person who destroyed this ancient book deserves 1,000 deaths. The Si clan elders cursed angrily. This scene made Wang Ke's face darken. Did these Si clan elders really go crazy because of these mysterious runes? "1320 runes. Then 1320 runes it is. Hurry. Analyze these 1320 runes immediately. Yes. Yes, yes. Maybe we can deduce other runes based on these runes and understand their true meaning. Get moving, old fellows. Get moving. The few elders shouted and didn't bother to call Si Chioin, Wang Ke, Xing Hui, and the others. They quickly went to do their own things. Deacon Sikong Ming. Ching Su saw how these people seemed like they would not sleep for over a dozen days as soon as they started working. He called out to Sikong Ming in a hurry and asked, after so many years of research, has the Si family managed to understand what these glyphs are? These runes? Sikong Ming was stopped by Tsing Hui and suppressed some of his impatient thoughts of studying these runes. He said in a deep voice, according to our research, these runes are actually a super formation. This super formation has a 20% chance of being an entrance to a certain place. After activating it, one can enter a mystic realm. There's a 20% chance of being an apocalyptic formation used to shatter the void and turn millions of miles into chaos. There's also a 20% chance of being a teleportation formation that teleports people to an unknown place. As for the remaining 40%, it's a mysterious domain that hasn't been uncovered yet. We haven't figured it out yet. Apocalyptic formation, entrance to a mystic realm, and teleportation formation. Hearing Sikong Ming's words, Xing Hui held his breath. It can't be wrong. It can't be wrong. Teleportation formation. Teleportation formation. It's definitely a teleportation formation. It's because these mysterious runes formed a teleportation formation that allowed him to travel millions of light years and appear in the eastern wilderness from the faraway earth. Dong Qian once said that he had triggered the restriction of the divine temple, causing heaven and earth to flip and the universe to reverse. From there, he fell to earth. He must have been teleported by the same teleportation formation. After that, Dong Qian spent 100 years painstakingly setting up a new divine array. He wanted to borrow the power of this teleportation formation to reverse the void and return to the divine wilderness. However, he didn't expect that his lifespan would run out and he would die regretfully. In the end, it was Tsing Hui who used some unknown method to reactivate the teleportation formation. That was why he landed in the eastern wilderness. As for why he only teleported his consciousness and not his physical body, it was probably because his body was too weak and was crushed by the power of the teleportation formation. After figuring this out, Tsing Hui's eyes lit up. Dong Qian had set up a new divine array to bring him to the eastern wilderness. Didn't that mean that if he could figure out the meaning of these runes, he could also set up a teleportation formation to return to Earth? Chapter 302. Xing Hui took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. That must be it. That must be it. He had found a way to return to Earth. Next was to analyze the runes of the divine teleportation array. Xing Hui thought to himself as he stared at the people of the Si family with sparkling eyes. He pinned all his hopes on them. He had never felt so close to his goal of returning to Earth. Hurry up and study them. Figure out the meaning of these 1320 runes as soon as possible. Xing Hui suppressed the excitement in his heart and said in a low voice. How can it be so fast? Even if these 1320 runes can be compared with the runes we have before, it will take more than 10 years, or even decades, to understand the general meaning of these 1320 runes. We must strive for perfection and not make any mistakes. Otherwise, if there is a problem with one rune, it may lead to a complete error. Sikong Ming said solemnly. Xing Hui nodded in agreement. This was a divine teleportation array that could teleport a person from Heaven Wasteland domain to Earth, which was tens of millions of light years away. Naturally, there could not be any carelessness. If there was a little problem that led to the failure of the teleportation, or the deviation of the teleportation, it could lead to him being stranded in another strange star domain. At that time, he may not be so lucky. However, more than 10 years. Decades? Can it be faster? Faster? Then we can only increase the number of people. The more people there are, the faster the efficiency. However, no matter how many people there are, they will not be of much help to these mysterious runes. We will have to teach them again, and this will waste several years. Unless you can find people from the other supreme sects who specialize in these mysterious runes, then we can work together to shorten the time. People from the other supreme sects who specialize in these mysterious runes? Sing Hui's eyes lit up slightly. This method is feasible. No. Wang Ke, who was standing behind Sing Hui, shook his head. Even though it has been several decades since a war broke out between our 6 great sects, the small conflicts and conflicts of interest between us have never stopped. These mysterious runes are related to the fortune jade, and this is also the reason why the 6 great sects are studying these mysterious runes. Who knows what kind of benefits they will obtain once they thoroughly study them. Therefore, the other great sects will definitely not allow the people who study these runes to be handed over to our Purple Cloud Palace. Can't we work together? Let's research it together and share the benefits. Sing Hui frowned. It won't work. The 6 supreme sects each have their own thoughts. How can they cooperate wholeheartedly? Who could guarantee that no one had hidden their own research data and used this method to monopolize the research results first? A piece of fortune divine jade had once caused the 6 great supreme sects to erupt into an unparalleled war, causing the central territory to shatter, the mountains and rivers to shift, and the living beings to be plunged into misery and suffering. So, what sort of madness and scheming would the benefits hidden behind the fortune divine jade cause? Wang Ke's expression turned solemn as he went on. At present, the 6 supreme sects have managed to form a balance with great difficulty, maintaining peace for several decades, but once the true meaning of the mysterious runes is discovered, this balance will be broken. At that time, the fortune mainland will descend into chaos once again. Therefore, either one of the 6 supreme sects succeeds in their research and secretly monopolizes the profits behind the mysterious runes, or, no one will be able to discover the meaning of the mysterious runes. There is no possibility of the 6 supreme sects cooperating to share the profits. Is there no possibility? Sing Hui's brows were deeply furrowed. Did he really have to wait for several decades on the fortune mainland? Impossible. Wang Ke shook his head. A moment later, as if he thought of something, he smiled wryly and said, unless there is an overlord who can unify the fortune mainland and become the supreme ruler of the fortune mainland, ending the conflict between the 6 great sections. Only then will there be a glimmer of hope. The speaker had no intention, but the listener had a heart. Wang Ke's words indeed gave Sing Hui an idea. However, the fortune mainland was not a place for weaklings. Each of the 6 supreme holy sects had a number of never-ending realm experts. If they wanted to unify the fortune mainland, even a 4th heaven saint realm expert who had cultivated the immortal golden core would have no hope of doing so. Unless he could derive a divine ability and step into the realm of a supreme existence, huh? Sing Hui muttered under his breath. Alright, we will immediately analyze the 1,320 mysterious runes you sent over. Oh right. Haven't you been studying the mysterious runes for more than a decade? Do you want to join us and study the mysterious runes with us? Si Kongming asked. Before Qing Su could reply, Wang Ke's face had already changed. He said in a hurry, honored guest of the Eastern Sun has important matters to attend to, so he doesn't have the time or energy to spend on studying the mysterious inscriptions. It's best to leave the research to you professionals. You can just contact the honored guest of the Eastern Sun when you come to a conclusion. When Sing Hui heard this, he nodded slightly. What he needed to do now was to break through to the prominent divine stage as soon as possible and take the fortune jade as his own. His family had been studying the mysterious runes for thousands of years, but they had not come up with any results. Even if he joined them, it would be meaningless. Not to mention, his claim of having studied the mysterious runes for more than a decade was baseless. He himself had no experience in studying the mysterious runes. If that's the case, then when you think of new runes, remember to tell us immediately. Who knows, the runes you remember might be able to inspire us to study the meaning of the runes, and unveil the true meaning of the mysterious runes. I understand. If I remember anything, I will tell you immediately. Xing Hui said solemnly. After that, he bowed to Sikong Ming. Then I will have to trouble Deacon Sikong Ming to take care of the matters here. You flatter me, this is the responsibility of the Si family. Based on Si Xiaoli's attitude, Sikong Ming understood that the young man in front of him must have an extraordinary position in the Purple Cloud Palace. He was very polite. Qiu Yin, please send guest elder Dong Yang off for me. No need to be so polite. I won't disturb Deacon Sikong Ming's research. Xing Hui said and followed Wang Ke and Sikong Ming out of the courtyard. He did not say goodbye to Si Xiaoli and directly soared into the sky, heading towards the great cloud palace where the palace master was. You're back from the Si family? Yes. This is your identity token. Since you have to borrow the identity of a supreme elder of the Burning Sky sect to participate in the Fortune Grand Banquet, it's not convenient for us to register your identity at the moment. Fortunately, the Fortune Grand Banquet is only a year away. After you participate in the Fortune Grand Banquet, you can directly enter our Purple Cloud Palace. I have already sent a message to the Burning Sky sect. From today onwards, you will be one of the supreme elders of the Burning Sky sect. Do you want the Burning Sky sect master to come and pick you up, or do you want Wang Ke to bring you to the Burning Sky sect? Let Deacon Wang Ke bring me directly to the Burning Sky sect. It's just a small matter, so there's no need to disturb the Burning Sky sect master. Xiang Hong nodded and did not argue with Xing Hui on this detail. Very well, you can go now. Wang Ke knows the way to the Burning Sky sect. Thank you, Palace Master. I'll take my leave first. Xing Hui bowed and left the Palace Master Xiang Hong's palace. He vaguely understood why Xiang Hong was not in a hurry to register his identity. On the one hand, he had come abruptly, so the palace master still needed to investigate his background a little. On the other hand, he wanted to see if he could condense a divine-grade battle body. They obviously wouldn't let go of a son of chaos so easily. However, a son of chaos who had condensed a divine-grade battle body and a son of chaos who had condensed a sacred-grade battle body obviously wouldn't be treated on the same level in the Purple Cloud Palace. They had to see things clearly before making a final decision. Guest Elder Dong Yang, please. Wang Ke was waiting outside. When he saw Xing Hui come out, he gestured with his hand. At some point, a jade carriage had stopped outside the palace. The carriage was not small, with a space of more than 10 square meters inside. It was like a small bus, pulled by 8 ferocious beasts that Xing Hui did not know the name of. There was a formation engraved on it, which looked quite mysterious. Xing Hui got into the carriage under Wang Ke's lead. Immediately, the 2 coachmen in front drove the carriage and directly soared into the sky. The ferocious beasts walked on the clouds, pulling the carriage as fast as lightning. The speed was extraordinary. Xing Hui estimated that the carriage was running at a speed of 300 to 400 kilometers per hour. A strong wind blew, but for some reason unknown to Xing Hui, the wind, which was originally very pressurizing, actually split into 2 sides. It did not have much impact on the carriage's movement, allowing the carriage to maintain its amazing speed as it shuttled through the clouds. It's really amazing, Xing Hui said. In terms of convenience, this carriage was actually a little worse than Xing Hui's sacred winged draconic eagle. However, this carriage was completely pulled by ferocious beasts and supported by an unknown formation to float in the void. The consumption of energy was extremely small, which was far from what the sacred winged draconic eagle could compare with. This carriage will be the exclusive carriage of Guest Elder Dong Yang from now on. The Palace Lord has already rewarded this carriage to Guest Elder Dong Yang. If you want to go out in the future, you can take this carriage. Wang Ke said with some envy. Although flying on a sword was faster than riding a carriage, it was not as comfortable as riding a carriage. Xing Hui cupped his hands in the direction of the Purple Cloud Palace. Thank you, Palace Lord. Fenshin sect is quite a distance from our Purple Cloud Palace. It will probably be the morning of the day after tomorrow. Why don't guest Elder Dong Yang rest for a while during this period? Perhaps Fenshin sect will be right in front of you after circulating your vital qi. Wang Ke said with a smile. Xing Hui nodded and did not refuse. When he arrived at Fenshin sect, he would immediately start to break through to the prominent divine stage and condense the divine grade Golden Crow battle body. He indeed had to adjust his mental state and prepare for this moment that could affect his future development potential. Chapter 303. The Burning Sky sect was a first-rate sect about 10,000 kilometers away from the Purple Cloud Palace. According to the information of the Purple Cloud Palace, there weren't many experts in the sect. Of course, this so-called not many was actually relative to the Purple Cloud Palace. In fact, if the Burning Sky sect was placed in the eastern wilderness, it would definitely be called an existence on the level of the 10 great saint sects. If it was in the Chongjian continent, it wouldn't be difficult for them to suppress all the forces in the Chongjian continent and unify the Chongjian continent. In the entire sect, there were 3 people who had reached the true energy realm and could be called ancestors. There were a total of 15 supreme elders in the prominent saint realm. Including the sect master, there were 16 people in total. However, they had to include Xing Hui, an outsider. Because they knew in advance that the emissary from the upper sect was about to arrive, the Burning Sky sect didn't dare to be careless. They had already arranged a ceremonial team to wait at the door. Not only did sect master Heartcliff come personally, but there was also a true energy realm ancestor, Chen Shua, and 4 supreme elders in the prominent saint realm accompanying him. Sect leader, although this person is from the upper sect, it is said that he is only a guest at the green underworld realm. Our Burning Sky sect is a dignified first-rate sect with 3 ancestors. Even among the many forces that are attached to the Purple Cloud Palace, we are one of the best. Why do we need to mobilize so many people for a mere guest? In the welcoming crowd, a woman whose cultivation had reached the peak of the Cyan Netherworld realm and was full of youthful vitality said with some dissatisfaction. Saintess, you mustn't underestimate this guest. According to the information I received, this Master Dong Yang isn't just an ordinary guest. Chen Shua, who was in the saint realm, said with a solemn expression. Green Netherworld realm, that's the cultivation of a foreign dignitary, and an ordinary foreign dignitary. Even if he comes from the Purple Cloud Palace, our Burning Sky sect has already thought highly of him by sending a supreme elder to receive him. Why do we need the sect master and even the ancestor to receive him together? Heartcliff glanced at the woman and said with a stern expression, Lingxi, your third martial uncle is right. This guest Dong Yang isn't a simple person. If you treat him as an ordinary Cyan Netherworld realm expert, you're gravely mistaken. It's said that the Purple Cloud Palace has placed high hopes on him. This time, he came to our Burning Sky sect's name to show his strength in the upcoming Fortune Grand Gathering and obtain the qualification to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade. Him. A Green Hell Realm cultivator. Even if I'm about to break through to the prominent divine stage, I don't have 100% confidence that I'll be able to obtain the qualifications to comprehend the Fortune Jade. What ability does he have to compete with the top geniuses of the Fortune mainland? In the past, more than half of the people who were qualified to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade were saints who had formed their true essence, and the other half were elites in the prominent divine realm. He is just a blue darkness realm cultivator, and he is far from them. Since the upper sect placed their hopes on him, they might as well help me. I already have an 80% chance of forming the Saint Grade Bifang combat physique, and with the 6-flame flowing light flag in my hand, I can summon one of the 4 origin flames, the Nanmingli fire, which can burn everything. With the power of this flame, it isn't impossible for me to enter the top 10. Ling Shi's pretty little face was filled with dissatisfaction. Heartcliff looked at her with some regret. In truth, she had planned to recruit a son of chaos and have Ling Shi represent the Burning Sky sect in the competition for the right to comprehend the Fortune Jade, but she had no choice but to obey the upper sect's orders. He could only make up an excuse. Although your 6-flame flowing light flag has a trace of Nanming primordial fire, it's still too little, and its power is inferior to pure Samadhi primordial fire. It's enough to deal with ordinary prominent divine stage experts, but if you want to stand out in the creation banquet, you must have unparalleled battle strength in the prominent divine stage. Therefore, it's better to follow the arrangement of the high sect. It's said that this cultivator from the high sect has cultivated the divine beast Golden Crow bloodline at a young age, and he has maintained the purity of the Golden Crow bloodline to cultivate to the peak of the blue netherworld stage. This time, he came to our Burning Sky sect to borrow our 6-flame mystic fire formation in order to condense the divine grade Golden Crow battle physique. If he really succeeds, with the power of the divine grade battle physique, he might be able to sweep through everyone in the creation banquet and obtain the qualification to comprehend the creation divine jade. Divine grade Golden Crow battle physique. There was a trace of shock in Ling Shi's eyes. How is that possible? Our Fortune Mainland's resources can't support a cultivator to cultivate the divine grade Golden Crow battle physique. Being able to condense a saint grade battle physique is already the limit. How is it possible for him to condense a divine grade battle physique? The upper sect is quite confident in him, and we can't do anything about it. However, let's wait and see. If he succeeds in condensing a divine grade battle physique, then everything will be over. If he fails to condense a divine grade battle physique, then our Burning Sky sect might be able to fight for you to participate in the fortune banquet. Hearing Heartcliff's words, Ling Shi's eyes flashed. In the past 3,000 years, there have been hundreds of cultivators with a saint-grade battle physique on our Fortune mainland. In almost every generation, there will be hundreds of cultivators with a saint-grade battle physique. However, only 4 people with a divine-grade battle physique have appeared in the past 3,000 years. I don't believe that this person called Dong Yang is a once-in-a-thousand-years genius. He definitely won't be able to condense a divine-grade battle physique. Heartcliff nodded, but didn't say anything. They're here. At this time, a Grand Elder suddenly said. At the end of the horizon, a carriage was moving through the air. It was moving as fast as lightning, and it was rapidly approaching. 4, 5, 6. It's actually the 8 horses war chariot. A Supreme Elder looked at the 8 ferocious beasts with a hint of shock on his face. It seems that the upper sect really thinks highly of this person. Those who can travel in the 8 horses war chariot are usually elders of the 6 supreme sections. In the eyes of the Purple Cloud Palace's palace master, this person isn't any weaker than an elder. We have to be careful with our attitude towards guest elder Dong Yang. Otherwise, our Burning Sky sect's palace master will be dissatisfied with our attitude. Indeed. The various Grand Elders spoke one after another and quickly reached a consensus. Heartcliff took the time to say to Ling Shi, "Don't speak rashly later and offend guest elder Dong Yang. Do you understand?" "I know what to do." Ling Shi responded, but there was a trace of unwillingness in her voice. As the most outstanding genius of the Burning Sky sect, her pride wouldn't be suppressed so easily by the name of an upper sect. The 8 horses war chariot soon landed on the square. Heartcliff, Qin Shua, and several supreme elders immediately came forward to welcome it. After Tsing Hui got off the chariot accompanied by Wang Ke, Heartcliff, ancestor Qin Shua, and several supreme elders bowed at the same time. "Greetings, envoy of the upper sect." Wang Ke nodded slightly. When Tsing Hui was in the Heaven Wasteland world as guest elder Dong Yang, experts who had cultivated the immortal golden core had bowed to him more than once or twice. Naturally, he didn't feel anything about this scene. He just waved his hand and said, "Heartcliff, elders, you're too polite. I'll be spending the next year in the Burning Sky sect. I'm sorry for disturbing you." Heartcliff secretly breathed a sigh of relief when she heard that Tsing Hui's tone was friendlier. She was really afraid that the upper sect would send an elder who was difficult to serve. "Envoy of the upper sect, you're too modest. It's the Burning Sky sect's honor that you're able to cultivate in the Burning Sky sect. The Burning Sky sect will do our best to support you and help you achieve success as soon as possible." "Heartcliff, you don't have to be so polite. I'm joining the Burning Sky sect as a Supreme Elder, so you don't have to call me envoy. Just treat me as an elder of the Burning Sky sect. This. Heartcliff hesitated for a moment. Seeing that Xinghui didn't seem to be joking, she agreed, then I'll accept your invitation. Elder Dong Yang, let me introduce you to the other elders. Xinghui nodded. This is a disciple of the previous generation of the Burning Sky sect, Supreme Elder Qin Shua of the Saint Realm. In front of Xinghui, Heartcliff naturally didn't dare to introduce Qin Shua as a Supreme Elder. Greetings, Supreme Elder Qin Shua. You're too polite, Elder Dong Yang. Qin Shua returned the greeting with a smile. This is. Heartcliff introduced the other Supreme Elders to Xinghui one by one. Xinghui also greeted them one by one. Seeing how courteous he was, the remaining great elders immediately felt rather flattered. They were no longer as averse to the arrival of their colleague, Qing Su as before. After the introductions, they soon arrived in front of Ling Shi. This is the Burning Sky sect's young sect master, Holy Maiden Ling Shi. Young sect master Ling Shi. Xinghui bowed slightly. Elder Dong Yang. Ling Shi returned the greeting, but before Qing Su could turn to the other person, Ling Shi said rather provocatively, I heard that Elder Dong Yang has cultivated the true qi of the divine beast, the Golden Crow. His heritage is tremendous, and his battle prowess is impressive. I, Ling Shi, have never seen an expert who has cultivated the bloodline of a divine beast to the peak of the Blue Darkness realm. I wonder if Senior Dong Yang can show us a thing or two so that we can broaden our horizons and witness the might of a divine beast. Heartcliff's expression changed at her words. Ling Shi, what nonsense are you talking about? Don't be rude. Get out of here. Qin Shua also reprimanded her in a deep voice. Xinghui, on the other hand, was slightly startled. He glanced at the stubborn Ling Shi and seemed to understand something. He laughed involuntarily. I came here mainly to cultivate in seclusion to break through to the prominent divine stage and condense a divine-grade battle body. Now that my essence, energy, and spirit have been completely adjusted, it's not appropriate for me to fight too much. If Holy Maiden Ling Shi is willing, I can show you my divine-grade battle body after I cultivate it. After all, it's not good to have a prominent divine stage cultivation base in the fortune pageant. Ling Shi understood what Xinghui meant and immediately chuckled. It won't be long before I break through to the prominent divine stage. Since Elder Dong Yang said that you can show me your divine-grade battle body after you cultivate it, why don't we exchange pointers then? Only through a head-on battle can we truly understand how powerful the battle body derived from the divine beast bloodline is, right? Since Holy Maiden Ling Shi has asked, I have no reason to refuse. Xinghui said. He was also a little curious. He didn't know how much the so-called immortal techniques of this world could increase one's combat strength. By exchanging blows with Holy Maiden Ling Shi in advance, he could prepare and advance the combat methods of this continent's cultivators. This way, he wouldn't fail miserably at the fortune pageant. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.